life are the event. At Shane Company, we handcraft our jewelry with the greatest care and hand-select the most beautiful gemstones so you can shine. So put on a pair of earrings that make your eyes sparkle. Wear diamonds that light up the room. Try on sapphires in every color of the rainbow. Give an heirloom that collects new stories with each generation. We're all made to shine. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Give your savings a boost with 5% APY on a 12-month certificate from Cyprus Credit Union. Now's the perfect time to make the most of increased rates and earn more when you save. Open your Cyprus certificate and start earning 5% APY today. Learn more at any branch or visit cypruscu.com.
Cyprus Credit Union. Your future is our future.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Jeff Kaplan.
I'm blessed that KSL has given me the freedom to talk about whatever I want. Literally, it is my minute of news. It might be something bizarre that you didn't know. Sometimes it's pegged to what's happening that very day.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Watching Utah's Money brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The owner of a car repair shop who paid a former employee with almost 100,000 oily pennies. Not just any pennies. These pennies were oily. Has been ordered by a judge to pay nearly 4 million more pennies. The worker says owner Miles Walker dumped the amount of his final paycheck in his driveway, along with a pay stub signed with an expletive. A federal judge ruled Walker owes almost $40,000 to 9 workers for unpaid overtime and damages.
Sounds like quite a guy.
You know, he let his anger get the best of him, I'd say.
Yeah. And now he's losing out to the judge. Yeah. Domino's is launching something called Anywhere Delivery that lets customers get their food without an address. The app tracks a GPS dot from people's phones. The pizza chain says their pinpoint delivery service is great for summertime. You could be sitting out in the park somewhere.
Yeah, or on a beach somewhere.
Order a pizza, and they'd have it brought right to you. Or, yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm the guy in the red suit. Come on over. A new 10-person gondola is coming soon to the Canyon Ski Resort. It will replace the Sunrise lift near the Pendry Hotel. It's called the Sunrise Gondola, and resort officials say it should trim down wait lines at the resort.
All right, let's see how the futures markets are doing this morning. Looks like narrow trading. We're down 23 points on the Dow after a loss yesterday of over 200. The S&P is down just 3, and the NASDAQ this morning is in the red by 22 points.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of construction barrels just about everywhere. How about you?
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah, I know it's that time of year when you have to be patient and grateful that they're fixing the roads. We do have some lane restrictions westbound on I-80. We'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead.
Dave and Debbie.
One of my favorite things about Debbie is when we're in the middle of an interview, a light flips on and there's something that she picked out. I call it her spidey sense. And then she just tenaciously goes after that line of questioning. If someone tries to spin it, she's respectful, but she's firm. And she won't let you go with just that easy, trite answer. She's going to get down to the bottom of it, and I love it.
I've always been impressed with Dave's ability to go back in his memory bank and drag out factual details from previous interviews, weeks, months, even years ago. It is phenomenal to watch that happen because it adds so much context to our coverage in the moment. Dave's got it all right up here in his brain, and that's impressive.
This is a thing that Debbie does not do well. On-the-fly math.
I agree. So one thing I agree with him on.
Listen for Dave and Dejanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Ready, set, go. The race to replace Representative Chris Stewart is on.
He's talking about who he would like to fill his seat.
With nearly 24 candidates vying for the 2nd congressional seat, things will get interesting fast. We'll be all over every twist and turn, mornings and afternoons this week on KSL News Radio.
529 means traffic and weather together. Again, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather Kelly, hopefully we're off to a good start here.
We are in the Salt Lake Valley. There's no problems right now northbound I-15, which is where most of our traffic is traveling this time of the morning. Right now, everybody is at speed from Point of the Mountain into downtown Salt Lake City. That'll take you about 20 minutes. You also have good speeds on the west side belt, the 201 freeway, and coming out of Tooele County. Len.
Looking at the early morning drive, looking very smooth right now. Sparse, actually, at this point on I-15, comparatively so. Looking pretty good as you're making your way northbound all the way through the Air Force Base onto Roy and Riverdale. And, of course, the other way is which way traffic goes coming into Salt Lake in the mornings a lot of times. And that is looking very good as well. We still have some construction restricting you on the Legacy Parkway down to one right lane through Bountiful and West Bountiful. Otherwise, we're looking at a pretty good drive on the I-215 north end. Eric?
And lane restrictions still in place if you're northbound on the 215 eastbound, then turning to go west on I-80. But this morning it was extending all the way to 1300 east. It was down to one lane, but they are starting to pick up the barrels there. Down Utah County, I-15 northbound from Santa Quin to Point of the Mountain, that's a 30-minute drive. Upgrade your countertops with beautiful quartz or granite. With Bedrock Quartz, it's only 7 days from template to installation with showrooms in Layton, West Jordan, St. George, and Pleasant Grove. BedrockQuartz.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today is going to be just beautiful, but not as warm as we usually are on this first day of summer. Today's high will be 77 degrees. We'll get up to 85, though, tomorrow. And look at this. We'll get all the way up to 90 on Monday. So what's that? A 23-degree jump.
Crazy.
In temperature in just a few days. Right now, downtown, it's 52 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time now is 5:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
It is, as you just said, the first day of summer, but it doesn't feel like it this morning.
It doesn't. KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our summer weather team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, temperatures this time of year are normally in the mid-80s, but today we're going to be about 10 degrees below that. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says this is due to a couple of factors, including the rain we've been seeing.
So some of that cold air has lingered, even though the showers are gone. It is lingering for today.
Believe it or not, some areas above 9,500 feet have even been seeing snow. Jeez, but things are going to bounce back pretty quickly here in the valley. We'll be in the mid-80s tomorrow, all the way up to 90 by Monday. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Boaters are celebrating the start of summer as Bullfrog Marina opens at Lake Powell after water levels went up to the highest they've been since last June. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston continues our live team coverage. Peter?
Tim, this is great news for boaters as the ramp at Bullfrog Marina hasn't been open for a full year. The ramp needed to gain 60 feet of water from an April low, and that it did. So this record snowpack has really turned something into boating season for the lake, and water levels are expected to continue to rise, but houseboats will be able to come down the ramp that's been closed for a long time. The main launching ramp wasn't even available or open 2 years ago. And so this is big news for boaters, and we'll have more information coming later this morning. But for now, reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. An Arkansas judge has struck down a ban dealing with medical care for transgender youth.
Supporters of the ban argued it would protect children's bodies and safeguard medical ethics. But transgender youth spoke out.
I was really insecure with myself and not happy before this.
A federal judge yesterday ruled the Arkansas ban violates the due process and equal protection rights of transgender youth and families, and argued it also violates the First Amendment rights of medical providers, saying the evidence showed that the prohibited medical care improves the mental health and well-being of patients, and that by prohibiting it, the state undermined the interests it claims to be advancing.
ABC's Andrea Fujii reporting Utah and 16 other states have passed laws similar to the one in Arkansas.
We continue to learn more about Hunter Biden's deal to plead guilty to a pair of tax-related misdemeanors and enter into a pretrial diversion agreement that would enable him to avoid prosecution on a felony charge.
Hunter is expected to reach a deal on a felony gun charge. He's accused of lying about his drug use on an application when he bought a firearm in 2018. Experts say it's rare for the Justice Department to bring a weapons charge against a nonviolent offender. The White House saying in a statement that the president and First Lady support him.
I'm very proud of my son.
Prosecutors plan to recommend probation for the tax offenses, which a a judge must still approve.
ABC's M. Wynn reporting.
A plan to create more housing in downtown Salt Lake City is moving forward. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla begins our team coverage, Utah Housing.
The western edge of downtown Salt Lake City, also known as the Depot District, is getting quite a bit of redevelopment. Multifamily housing units are being built north of 200 South in an attempt to satisfy the younger generation's desires of living and functioning in a city without a vehicle. The area provides easy access to UTA buses, tracks, and the Front Runner. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Nearly 3,000 eviction cases were filed from January to April this year, which is an uptick from the past few years. KSL News Radio's Kate Davis continues our team coverage.
This isn't unique to Utah. Nationwide, evictions are ticking upward, but Executive Director of the Rental Housing Association of Utah, Paul Smith, says eviction rates aren't much higher than they were before the pandemic.
We're post-COVID now, and numbers are exactly where they were pre-COVID, at 2.1% of Utahns being evicted pre.
The lowest period of evictions in Utah was in April 2020 in the thick of the pandemic, thanks to increased federal support for renters. Kate Davis, KSL News Radio.
First look traffic now, and here's Heather Kelly.
We do have overnight lane restrictions in place in several areas. One of those is Legacy Parkway southbound through Bountiful. You only have one right lane open. If you're in Utah County, southbound I-15 cannot exit onto University Parkway as that exit ramp is closed right now. Hopefully that'll reopen soon. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
The latest now on the story that's really captivated the world. Underwater noises have been detected by Canadian aircraft in the ongoing search for the Titan submersible that went missing Sunday during a dive to the Titanic wreckage. The Coast Guard says their search has still yielded no results. Fran Capo is an adventurist who went on the sub back in 2005.
They may have come up with some strategies of things that they could try, but I think right now they're waiting it out and praying, and we're hoping that we will see them soon.
As we told you yesterday, the vessel about the size of a minivan and has little room to move or stand upright inside.
New test scores show that kids around the country continue to struggle to catch up after the pandemic. ABC's Lionel Weiss explains.
Math and reading scores fell to their lowest levels in decades, with math scores dropping by the largest margin ever recorded. This according to a test called the National Assessment of Educational Progress, also known as the nation's report card. Between 2020 and 2023, average math scores fell by 9 points. The drop in math scores was even greater for some students. They fell 20 points for American Indian students and 13 points for black students. White students saw a 6-point decline, and for Asian students, scores held even. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
Officials in Boston say a 32-year-old woman used a fake ID to attend a public high school. The woman is a social worker but is no longer working for a state agency as police investigate.
She definitely didn't look 32. I could tell you that. I wouldn't have thought she was 32.
That's a freshman at the school who says she was shocked to hear the woman was older than she appeared.
Wow. We do have some southbound slowing this early on Legacy Parkway from Centerville into Bountiful. We'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead on KSL.
Breaking news is just one ask away.
Playing KSL News Radio.
Newly released body cam footage.
If you want to switch parties, you still can.
In your home, tell Alexa, play KSL News Radio. Then listen in your car at 102.7 FM.
If you've got a honey-do list with electrical, plumbing, heating, or air conditioning projects on it, Any Hour Services can help. Call Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. anyhourservices.com.
Hey, Derek Overstreet here from the New Millennium Group, financial advisors in Utah. You know, I've been helping people retire in the state of Utah for the last 20 years. The way we do that is we actually find out what is important to you. We create a step-by-step plan that takes into consideration your income, your debt, whether you want money from real estate, stock market, annuities, life insurance, whatever. If you want to deal with professionals, people that are fiduciaries and have a legal responsibility and obligation to do what's in your best interest, give my team a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Or go to my website, utahsfinancialplanner.com. If you'd like to retire 3 to 5 years before you thought it was possible, give my team a call right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370.
Dave and Dujanovic.
We can have disagreements and still be friends. So often, I think people think that just because we disagree, that we're enemies. That we are not. We're great friends, even though we disagree.
I hope listeners take away something new every day, a new detail they hadn't heard before. And I also hope our show opens their minds to new ideas, new ways of thinking of things.
Listen for Dave and Dujanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
We're all anxiously waiting to hopefully get some better news on this submersible that's gone missing. Did you see this, though? They said that the submersible reportedly outfitted with off-the-shelf parts and piloted using a video game controller.
Oh, now this is, didn't you tell me the other day that it's like $250,000 per person to go in that thing?
Yeah.
Couldn't they afford other parts?
You'd think.
You'd think.
But the question being asked by The Hill this morning is it normal for submarines to use video game controllers? Just not sure.
Don't think so.
We'll look for more information as it becomes available for you this morning.
5:39, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather?
Well, Amanda, things are still pretty quiet in the Salt Lake Valley. No accidents reported. Everybody seems to be playing nicely with each other on the city streets and the major freeways. And it's still a pretty light traffic flow as you head north, coming out of Utah County, heading all the way into downtown Salt Lake. If you're coming out of Tooele County, SR 36 is smooth sailing onto I-80 right now. No congestion there. And you're going to have good speeds if you transition onto the 201 freeway. Len.
Well, making your way on the Legacy Parkway, that lane constriction down to one right lane is starting to build up some slow traffic in there as you make your way. It's kind of a long train getting through there, pretty much from the Lakeside Golf Course up there in Centerville down to 500 South in West Bountiful. Otherwise, I-15 is working very well this morning. No delays from Ogden on to Farmington and into the downtown ramps in a minimum of any kinds of problems right there. Highway 89 is looking good through the construction from as you make your way from South Weber down to Farmington. Eric?
If you're southbound I-15 Utah County, heading from Orem, if you're intending on exiting at University Parkway in Orem, they've got the exit blocked off. Again, this is southbound. So if you want to prevent going all the way into Provo, you're going to have to exit at the Center Street exit this morning. Northbound I-15 looks good, though, in Utah County. This spring, get your lawn off to a good start with Revive Organic Soil Treatment. Greener grass using less water. Spread or spray it. Revive. It works. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
With drier air moving into the state, we'll go for sunny skies today, high of 77, spectacular. Overnight low in the mid-50s, clear skies. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 85. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, clear skies this morning and 52 degrees.
It really is a race against the clock, as you were talking a moment ago about this search for the submersible. More ships are joining the search, I guess, and hopefully we'll be there in case they are able to locate it and get it out in time. We'll have more with Inez de la Catera coming up in a moment on KSL.
We both agreed a minute ago off the air that neither part of us, any part of us, wants to have, this kind of an adventure.
I cannot imagine going in that confined space.
No.
That far below the surface. I can't imagine that.
We're going to talk with Inez more about it here in just a minute at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. Thanks again for waking up early with us. Tim and Amanda on KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
Calling all Utah locals. See the Southwest by rail on board Rocky Mountaineer. They've extended their latest offer until June 30th. Save up to $1,200 per couple. Visit RockyMountaineer.com to book. Quality, speed, value for your money, and $1,000 off any roof replacement. That's the IWC advantage. IWC, Intermountain West Contractors, delivers on the things most important to you when it comes time to replace your roof. There could be a dozen different reasons why your roof needs replacement, but just one answer to the problem: IWC. With IWC, you get quality because roof replacement is their specialty, and each job comes complete with the best warranties from the most trusted roofing material manufacturer in America. You get speed because IWC understands your time is valuable. In most cases, they can replace an entire roof in just one day. And with IWC, there's the value of knowing they use top-tier quality materials in every installation and deliver it all at an affordable price. And now, for a limited time, save $1,000 on a roof replacement project. Visit IWCroofing.com or call 801-232-5700. 5690. That's 801-232-5690.
My name is Tom.
My name is Cindy.
We give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
We know our time and money are going to the right places.
We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Two friends taking pictures of the rising full moon on a summer night.
Two teenage kids doing what teenage kids do.
When a stranger with a gun and a death wish changed everything.
It was violent, it was senseless, and I will never understand it, I will never accept it.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and unfortunately, we're all too familiar with stories about how violence shatters lives. But what we rarely see is how they are rebuilt. In a new podcast, The Letter, we relive tragedy, but only so we can hear the rest of the story. The struggle to reclaim lives, the realities of grief, and the possibilities of forgiveness.
I believe in miracles. Sometimes I thought, there are no miracles. Yeah, there are, and this is a big one.
Follow The Letter at theletterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time, 544. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
recent rain and other factors are going to make for an unseasonably cold first day of summer. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Bullfrog Marina is opening at Lake Powell as the water levels at Lake Powell continue to rise.
Third, of course, it's traffic and weather together.
We've got a rollover crash southbound I-15 right near Center Street in Provo. Multiple lanes are blocked. Traffic is trying to weave through the wreckage right now. UHP is not on scene. Once they get there, they're going to block off more lanes. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny and 77 today, but 80s return tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 51 downtown.
With KSL's top national stories.
Noises heard by a Canadian surveillance plane flying over the area of the North Atlantic where that submersible went down on Sunday. The 5 on board have not been heard from since. Tropical storm Brett is growing stronger as it moves toward islands in the eastern Caribbean that are bracing for torrential rainfall, landslides, and flooding, an early start to the hurricane season. Across much of Texas, they're bracing for another scorcher. The temperatures in the triple digits. The operators of the Texas power grid asking businesses and homeowners to please curtail electricity use to prevent a massive meltdown. A new assessment of education in the U.S. shows math and reading scores falling to their lowest levels in decades in the years after the pandemic. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Let's go in depth here. A growing number of ships are joining the search for that submersible lost near the Titanic wreck.
Joining us live on the KSL Newsline is ABC News correspondent Inez de la Catera. Can you update us on the search, Inez?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, you heard it there in Sherry's report. The big headline this morning is that according to the U.S. Coast Guard, Canadian aircraft have detected underwater noises. So remote operated vehicle operations were then relocated to that area in an effort to explore the origin of those noises. We should point out so far no vessel has been detected, but the hope is that these noises are coming from the submersible. The data has also been searched with the U.S. Navy experts for additional analysis, and Coast Guard this morning reminding people that, of course, this is taking place at the site of the Titanic, that there are lots of metal objects in the water, and so those noises could be coming from anything. The hope is that it is coming from the submersible, but they're also cautioning people not to get their hopes up too much here. According to some reports, search crews have heard banging sounds at 30-minute intervals. So Rolling Stone magazine was citing internal government memos saying banging had been detected and that additional devices were then deployed 4 hours later, but the noises were still heard at that point in time. So it's unclear when the banging exactly was heard and for how long, but it is giving some people hope. Certainly the Explorers Club, which was founded by one of the billionaire passengers on board the submersible, is saying that there is cause for hope based on field data and that likely signs of life have been detected at the site.
Yeah, the mental images of the banging just bother me this morning. So we're still being told that their oxygen should hold out till midday tomorrow, but how quickly they could actually get them up is the next concern, is it not?
That's right, yes. The clock is ticking. They had about 4 days worth of oxygen when this whole thing began. They went missing. They were reported missing on Sunday night, and they are believed to have just under 30 hours of breathable air left. That's as of this morning, so it's even gone down since then. But you're right, if they are underwater, if that noise is coming from them, and if they are kind of trapped down there, the other challenge is going to be bringing them up to the surface. There are very few ships that have that capability. More and more ships are arriving, and more and more help is on the way. But it's rare to have vessels that would be able to go so far down, and so that's been a challenge. Is getting the vessels that have that capability to the site in time. So we know there are a few vessels already in place. We know that more ships are on the way. So, for instance, there is a Canadian vessel with a mobile decompression chamber that's on the way. There's another French research ship which has an underwater robot that can descend up to 4,000 meters below sea level that is also on the way. The U.S. military is sending more help as well. But yeah, it's just a matter of the clock ticking, oxygen running out, and just getting all that help to these people in time.
Wow. Well, it has the world's attention for sure. We're just praying for those people trapped inside there. And thank you for your report, Inez. Inez de la Catera with us on the KSL In-Depth.
I think you saw the same report I did. Worst case scenario is the fear that if they lost pressure somehow, that at that depth, it would just, and they use the analogy of like crushing a Coke can or something.
Didn't that happen? You were telling me that happened to another submersible?
Yeah, and I don't remember when, but they said that there was the case of one that actually sprung a little leak. It lost its compression or its pressure inside and just imploded, basically. Not something we want to, put into this story, but something to be aware of.
And the fact that it hasn't happened yet, wouldn't that have happened already if they had a leak of some kind?
Yeah.
You would think.
Prayers are going out all over the world, as you mentioned. 5:49, it's traffic and weather together again, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. We've got emergency traffic, and Heather, you were talking about having to steer people around a problem out there.
Rollover crash southbound I-15 right near Center Street in Provo. Now you've got two vehicles facing backwards, blocking center lanes of travel. One of them actually rolled and then wound back up on its wheels facing the wrong way. You have more vehicles over on the right shoulder. Emergency vehicles are right now arriving on scene, and I don't know how many more lanes they're going to block to try to take care of this. But traffic is at a standstill. It's backing up toward the S-curves, so you're going to need to allow a lot of extra time as you make your way through Utah County this morning heading southbound. Northbounders don't have any problem right now heading up toward the point of the mountain. Len.
Well, into Davis County, still looking pretty good right now. We do have still some lane restrictions in the Bountiful area. That's got it down to one lane. You make your way from Centerville down to Bountiful, it's very slow there. Otherwise, I-15 is showing no problems at this point between Riverside, Kaysville, and into the downtown area of Salt Lake. US 89 and SR 193 on the south end of the base looking pretty good. A little bit of traffic coming off on West Hill Field making its way toward the base. Eric?
In Salt Lake County, I-15 looks good from Bluffdale Draper all the way to downtown to 215. Belt Route also in good shape, and part of Lee's Canyon, not a major problem for I-80 drivers eastbound or westbound. Summer means the hospitals need extra blood donations. ARUP Blood Services has 2 locations. Donate blood to save a life. Visit utahblood.org. utahblood.org. Open 7 days. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. You ordered it. We delivered a perfect first day of summer. Sunny skies today with a high of 77. Very nice. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 85. We back it off to 83 on Friday. Partly cloudy and breezy. We keep it breezy on Saturday, mostly sunny, 82. How about 87 for your Sunday? Sunny skies. We keep the ample sunshine on Monday, 90 degrees. Goes to 87 on Tuesday, mostly sunny. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
We're on the cool side this morning, 51 degrees, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We're reporting this morning on the first of 2 debates to replace Representative Chris Stewart, of course, for that 2nd congressional seat. It took place last night. The next one is tomorrow night, I think, in southern Utah. And then the convention on Saturday. So wheels are in motion here. to figure out who will be replacing Congressman Stewart. It's something we're going to keep an eye on for you all week long, so make sure you keep an ear on us throughout the week here on KSL, where the news time is 5:52.
Would you be upset if you lost $111,000 in retirement income? Get this, 96% of Americans, 96%, lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a free report, the Social Security Decisions Guide from Boss Retirement Solutions, a 5-time winner of Utah's Best of State Award. If you saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get this free report by calling 801-682-4448. This free report is loaded with critical information that can help you avoid losing $111,000 in Social Security income. So call 801-682-4448. That's 801-682-4448. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
The biggest RV show in the region is growing. The Utah Summer RV Palooza is back and bringing the heat to Sandy, June 22nd through the 24th. For 3 days only, the shops at Southtown will be packed with the largest selection of new and used RVs in the region. Shop brands like Ember, Forest River, Northwood, and more. You'll even find the hard-to-get GoPlay 26BH bunkhouse travel trailer at a sales price of only $19,995. But that's not all the summer savings we're serving up. Save up to 20% below cost on select new 2022 RVs. Yeah, up to 20% under cost. We're also offering 90 days no payments on approved credit for all play and no pay until September. Plus, right now, we'll trade anything. Bring your trade to the show and we'll hook you up. Don't miss your chance to enter to win a brand new $30,000 RV. No purchase necessary. See rules for details. All during the Utah Summer RV Palooza in Sandy. Only June 22nd through the 24th at the shops at Southtown. Sponsored by Bish's RV.
Watching Utah's Money is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. One of the biggest newspaper publishers in the country, Gannett, is suing Google over its digital ad services. The lawsuit accuses Google of violating antitrust laws and having a monopoly on the ad market. They claim Google's ad services are actually driving down revenue for news outlets.
California is thinking about charging homeowners for utilities based on their income. 3 major utility companies in the state have drawn up plans to create a sliding scale in response to a new state law.
Oh, boy. And a new program is offering cash and free outdoor adventures to remote workers if they move to West Virginia. The program is aimed at offsetting population loss in the state. Successful applicants will get $12,000 and free passes, by the way, for whitewater rafting, golf, rock climbing, and more. The full package, they say, is worth $20,000.
Futures are down slightly. Dow futures down 15. That's less than a tenth. S&P futures off just 2.5. The Nasdaq down 23, which is about 0.1%.
It's the 100-day countdown to Cougar football, and it's brought to you by Bish's RV. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
One of the strengths of BYU's new revamped defense is at linebacker. The Cougars bring back a pair of highly productive tacklers in Max Tooley and Ben Bywater. Both players missed spring practices due to shoulder injuries. The good news is that they are expected to be ready for the start of fall camp. Bywater has racked up 200 tackles the past 2 seasons for BYU and projects to be the starting inside linebacker this season. Along with a pair of returning veterans, BYU also added a vet from in-state rival Utah State in A.J. Vongpachan. Vongpachan had 101 tackles last year for the Aggies. He projects to be a starter as well. The Cougars also brought in Oregon transfer Harrison Taggart, who was a 4-star recruit out of Corner Canyon High, plus a trio of redshirt freshmen in Isaiah Glasker, Ace Kafusi, and Micah Kafusi that will look to contend for playing time this fall. For more on BYU's linebacker unit, check out the KSL Sports app. Countdown to Cougar football, 73 days to go. I'm Mitch Harper, KSL Sports.
This portion of the news brought to you by Utah Symphony's Deer Valley Music Festival. Visit deervalleymusicfestival.org for information.
Picture this. A warm summer evening, the sun setting behind the mountains, blankets being laid out on the cool grass, and world-class music. It's the Utah Symphony's Deer Valley Music Festival, and you're invited to escape into the music with 12 concerts at Snowpark Amphitheater featuring country pop sensation Leanne Rimes, the movie music of John Williams, alt rocker Ben Folds, and the Beach Boys. Let the summer festivities begin at the Utah Symphony's Deer Valley Music Festival, kicking off with a salute to the USA. Start your Independence Day weekend celebrations with a concert under the stars, featuring Gershwin's wildly popular piano concerto Rhapsody in Blue, movie music by John Williams, and so many more American classics. Patriotic Pops opens the Utah Symphony's Deer Valley Music Festival. Be there Friday, June 30th in Park City. Tickets are on sale now at deervalleymusicfestival.org.
I'm Andy Farnsworth.
And I'm Kellyanne Halverson.
And we're hosts of KSL's Fan Effect podcast, and we're excited to share with you our knowledge
and arguments
on everything pop culture and fandom. Listen regularly on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, that's Fan Effect with an E.
Win great prizes from KSL News Radio. This week, win tickets to Lagoon. It's what fun is. Or win tickets to the Deer Valley Music Festival's Spanish Nights with Pablo Sanz Villegas on Saturday, July 1st. Plus, enter our Countdown to Kickoff giveaway with Bish's RV, where you can win a travel trailer plus BYU season tickets. Get started now by texting contest to 57500 or visit kslnewsradio.com/contests.
KSL News Time is 5:59. We have emergency traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's High Yield Savings Certificates. Back to you, Heather.
Well, Amanda, this is down in Utah County. Southbound I-15 is down to one right lane that is open. It's due to a multi-vehicle crash. One of the vehicles rolled just before Center Street in Provo. So the entire left side of the freeway is blocked. Traffic is quickly backing up toward the S-curves. You're going to definitely want to take an alternate route. The problem is University Parkway exit in Orem is closed right now for construction, so it doesn't give you many opportunities to get around this crash and the delays. Northbound I-15 still at speed, though, from Spanish Fork all the way to the point of the mountain. Len.
We're looking at Davis County, but first we're hearing in the scanner of a crash that is about 4200 West I-80. We're going to check that out. And there is a pretty smooth drive in Davis County, but you still got some constrictions down to one lane from Centerville down to Bountiful as they have that one right lane open. I-15 is sailing along in good shape, and I-84 is good. You make your way through South Weber down to Peterson. US 89, no delays past Kaysville to the base and into South Weber. Eric?
Northbound I-15 looking good in Salt Lake County. No crashes or delays. Enjoy low-maintenance, single-level luxury living planned community. Access to golf, pickleball, and open trails. Nilson Homes in Davis Weber County. Visit nilsonhomes.com. nilsonhomes.com. Eric Butler in KSL Traffic Center.
Getting a little cooler out there just before the sunrise. 77 for a high later this afternoon.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen on the KSL News Radio app and in your car at 102.7 FM. KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 6 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
After weeks of debate and criticism, the Davis School District is once again allowing the Bible in its libraries.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Amanda, the Davis School District Board voted unanimously to bring the Bible back after a committee previously pulled it from their elementary and junior high schools. Utah Senator Todd Weiler co-sponsored Utah Sensitive Materials Law.
I think it's great news. I mean, our law targeted pornographic, X-rated material. And I could never see how the Bible fit into that category.
KSL.com reports the previous decision cited vulgarity and violence that may not be appropriate for young kids. But lawmakers questioned the decision for the district to remove the Bible since it didn't meet any of the criteria under the new law. Weilers tells Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News they may look into tweaking the law after seeing this all play out. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
11 Republicans running for Congressman Chris Stewart's seat debated last night.
KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston joins us live with a recap. Peter?
Amanda, the Republican candidates for Congressman Stewart's seat tried to set themselves apart from each other through their opening statements last night. They also took pretty different stances on issues ranging from Trump versus DeSantis in 2024 and a recent same-sex marriage act that passed Congress. Representative Stewart has chosen his current legal counsel as the person he wants to replace him, and she said that she would actually support the bill that just passed that would balance religious freedom with gay marriage. Other candidates on the stage said that they would take the opposite stance and fight against that issue. There will be another debate happening Thursday, and you can tune in online through a YouTube live link. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. A growing number of Republican lawmakers say the plea deal given to Hunter Biden was not tough enough. Former Republican Congressman John Katko says he thinks the plea deal is a step in the right direction for the DOJ.
He didn't pay his taxes. He's repaying the taxes, and he's going to plead to 2 misdemeanor counts on that. I don't think it's the worst outcome.
Documents entered in court show the president's son has agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax-related charges and then enter a pretrial diversion program to avoid prosecution on a felony gun charge.
Reaction continues to pour in this morning to the Hunter Biden plea deal. KSL News Radio's Hugo Ricard-Bell continues our team coverage.
The deal allows the president's youngest son to receive probation for not filing over $100,000 in taxes and also avoid prosecution on a separate gun charge. But ABC legal analyst Royal Oakes says the judge doesn't have to agree if he feels the penalty is too soft.
If the judge thinks that it's too easy or too hard, the judge could actually stop it. But it's pretty unlikely, as you know. Generally, judges go along with the deals.
Hunter Biden illegally bought a firearm during the period of his life where he was also allegedly addicted to cocaine. Hugo Ricard-Bell, KSL News Radio.
America's top diplomat is in London today, meeting with his counterparts from around the world. Secretary Blinken is also announcing an additional $1.3 billion in U.S. aid for Ukraine.
You've had President Zelensky and others come out and say, don't worry, it's all going to plan. Well, the fact that they've come out and said that, I think, starts to raise questions in people's minds about whether it really is going to plan. Now, we know the Ukrainians have only deployed a certain amount of all these extra battalions that they formed over winter, and they've been heavily trained in the United States and across Europe.
ABC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell reporting there from Ukraine.
A Canadian aircraft has detected underwater noises in the search for the Titan submersible. The vessel has been missing since Sunday on a dive to the wreckage of the Titanic. But the Coast Guard says their search has so far gotten nowhere. ABC's Lionel Moise is gathering more information.
As of Tuesday night, crews had covered 7,600 square miles. There's still a chance the sub is able to float to the surface on its own, but the crew would still be trapped. Rescuers would have to first locate the vessel and physically remove the crew before oxygen runs out.
Officials say the vessel has enough oxygen to last until early tomorrow morning.
We got a snarl out there that might slow you down. It's emergency traffic this morning. Let's go back over to Heather Kelly.
Yeah, this is on southbound I-15 in Utah County. A rollover crash involving multiple vehicles is blocking all but one right lane of traffic right as you get to Center Street in Provo. So you've got traffic backing up very quickly toward Orem. So you may want to look for an alternate route. The issue is the exit ramp to University Parkway in Orem is also closed for construction. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather with Matt Johnson. The official start of summer gets off to a rather cold start.
Average high this time of year for the first day of summer is typically right around 86 degrees with a low of 61. We're running a solid 10 plus degrees cooler than that. Only forecasting a high of 77 today. It will likely top out in the 50s and 60s in the mountains.
Matt says the cold is partly caused by a pocket of cold air dropping in from Canada, but things will be heating up later this week.
It's also the longest day of the year, 15 hours and 6 minutes of daylight.
Oh, wow.
So if you have something to get done outside tonight,
you'll have time.
You'll have plenty of time. Speed bumps will soon start going up along 1300 South in Salt Lake City, but not everybody's happy about it.
Neighbors like Clayton Morgan tell KSL 5 they are ready for the city to act quickly to get speed bumps and at least one raised sidewalk up on their street to slow down speeding traffic.
Some cars will come screaming through here, and it gets pretty dangerous.
Others say they weren't consulted and feel left out of the process. Transportation spokesman John Larson says they did send out postcards and had multiple meetings with public input. The city says they did push it forward after a sixth grader from Bonneville Elementary was hit and killed on 2100 East last November. Work is set to begin late this summer. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
The expected number 1 pick in the NBA draft, 19-year-old Victor Wembanyama, has arrived in the U.S. from France. Many league analysts are calling him the best player to enter the league since LeBron James. Wembanyama sat down with Good Morning America's Robin Roberts to talk about the high expectations for his future.
How do you deal with the pressure that goes along with the anticipation?
I have such high expectations from myself, and I'm so determined that the expectations of others are nothing compared to what I expect of myself. Nothing can disturb me from it, so it's not that hard to deal with it.
I keep hearing the announcer, Wembanyama!
I bet they find a way to shorten it. It's either going to be Yama or Wemby or something.
Like him a nickname. He also threw out the first pitch at a Yankees game last night. That did not go so well.
Yeah.
He might need to work on his pitching.
Yeah.
The draft is tomorrow night. The Utah Jazz have the 9th, 16th, and 28th picks.
And that's going to be fun for Jazz fans tomorrow. Several lanes through southbound I-15 closed because of a crash between Orem and Provo. Expect some delays there. We'll check traffic and weather again coming up in a minute.
Start your day with all news in the morning. Then hear David Dujanovic talk about the biggest stories from 9 to noon.
His defense attorney for this case has a heavy lift.
Yeah, the retainer is not enough for that guy. Breaking news, important talk, all morning on KSL News Radio.
At Shane Company, we believe everybody is made to shine. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Shining is not for a chosen few. Like a rare gemstone, each one of us was created under just the right set of circumstances. Your moments, your milestones, your love story, all deserve to shine bright. You don't need an occasion or an invitation. You and your life are the event. At Shane Company, we handcraft our jewelry with the greatest care and hand select the most beautiful gemstones so you can shine. So put on a pair of earrings that make your eyes sparkle. Wear diamonds that light up the room. Try on sapphires in every color of the rainbow. Give an heirloom that collects new stories with each generation. We're all made to shine. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
15 years ago, we were adding on to our home, and so I convinced Sean we should update the kitchen.
We did some research and we decided to go with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Their reputation was phenomenal. To design, do the construction and the finish work, what we wanted was what we got from start to finish. So fast forward 15 years, our family's changed, we've gotten bigger.
There just wasn't the space in the kitchen anymore. People were banging into each other.
We decided 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Here's the problem. What are our solutions? Comparing working with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath 15 years ago, today, their ability to design what you want was the same.
Everything has been what I want.
The quality of 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, I think, is phenomenal. The countertops and the cabinets that they use are great. They were just good guys doing good work.
For more about your new kitchen or bath, visit 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Lots of text last night when this decision came down from the Davis School District to once again allow the Bible in its libraries. We're following up on that reaction with Adam Small here this morning. 6:09, it's emergency traffic. We have a rollover out there that's causing some problems. Let's get a look. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather?
Yeah, this is southbound I-15 in Provo, right near Center Street. Now, they had the entire left side of the freeway closed for a good 20 minutes with only one right lane open, but they just moved one of the vehicles over to the right, so now you've got 3 left lanes available. That's the HOV lane and the 2 left lanes next to that, but that leaves you 2 right lanes closed. So now everybody needs to move over to the left side of the freeway, but with 3 lanes open, that should hopefully start moving traffic that's backed up toward Orem at this point. And then we have a crash reported in Provo Canyon. This is westbound right near the turnoff that takes you to Sundance with a left lane closed, but there's not enough traffic there to cause delays. Len?
We got 1 lane open on Legacy Parkway still as you go southbound. Traffic slowly moving from Centerville to Bountiful. Otherwise, US 89 is pretty good through the lights up from Farmington up to South Weber or either direction. No delays at SR 93 on the south end of the base, and we're looking pretty good on the I-15 flow the whole way. Eric?
I-15 looks pretty solid in Salt Lake County this morning from Bluffdale and Draper heading up towards the downtown area. You've got an eastbound crash on I-80 near Wright Brothers Drive that this is over on the right shoulder this morning. The Ute Stampede Rodeo and Carnival is coming July 13th through 15th in Nephi's Juab County Fairgrounds. featuring top cowboys and girls bucking bulls, horses, and award-winning entertainment. Visit UtestampedeRodeo.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
I'm dialing up a perfect first day of summer. How about a high of 77 with sunny skies? 55 overnight with clear skies. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high of 85. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Definitely a cool start to the morning out there.
So sorry.
It is 51 degrees. We'll have sun in just a minute.
So another car maker is using Tesla's EV network, the charging network, as part of its development and marketing plans. We'll tell you more about that when we talk to Mike Dubusky. I love talking to Mike. Coming up on KSL News Radio.
Stay with us at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. Amanda's back this morning, so it's Tim and Amanda with you till 9 on your all-day companion for news. Before we start telling you more about Les Olson IT, let me just calm your nerves a little bit, that if you're just in need of a copier or a printer, they're still the company to go to, have been for almost 7 decades.
Yeah. If you go to a big box store, you'll buy whatever printer is on sale. You might be buying more printer than you need or not enough. The great thing about Les Olson IT is they'll talk to you about what do you use the printer for and figure out this is the perfect printer for your needs so you can pay the least amount per copy.
And not just per copy, but the factor of that, of course, is ink, and they can give you wholesale ink cartridges, which are going to save you a ton. I don't know when the last time you went in and replaced an ink cartridge was, but it's crazy the amount of money. But anything else you need in your office that relates to today's technology, they can take care of for you. They've got security cameras. They have security badges. They'll run the cabling right from the street to your office. They do it all.
Yeah, they build servers. I mean, they install those big, huge monitors that you'll see in some big businesses. So whether you do a little eBay business or you have a huge business, think Les Olson IT.
Get to know Les Olson IT. They've got 9 locations from Logan to Las Vegas, and they're online, of course, at lesolson.com.
I am a soul line dance instructor.
This is Rhonda.
I just love dancing, so I was always willing to dance through the pain, but it was really starting to catch up with me. I've had foot pain, leg pain, everything pain.
And this is Rhonda's Good Feet story.
I was using any and everything that I could to help alleviate the pain.
None of that worked. Until
since visiting the Good Feet store and incorporating the arch supports into my life, I definitely have not felt the pain. I can't even really verbalize just how much better I feel. My mood and my energy has just drastically improved. I'm still actually in awe. Wearing the arch supports and being pain-free now, I am able to dance longer. Dancing is just a joy.
Now that is one heck of a Good Feet story.
I do want to tell everyone about it.
And now you have.
So, yeah.
See how we can help you with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Stop by the Good Feet store in Farmington, Riverton, or Sandy for a free fitting. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit mygoodfeet.com.
With the economy the way it is, you're probably staying put. So invest in your home, your number one asset, with beautiful custom replacement windows from Advanced Window Products. They're a local Utah company building beautiful vinyl framed and insulated double pane windows for 37 years right here in Salt Lake City. Advanced Window Products will save you money on your energy bill. Get security features to keep your family safe. And at Advanced Window Products, it's all custom. And the best part, they're local. They build the windows, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. So there's no middleman markup. You save on the highest quality windows in Utah. Plus, Rocky Mountain and Dominion offer rebates. For a limited time, they offer 60-month 0% financing. And right now, get $2,000 off 10 windows or more. They're working 8 weeks out. So make the call now. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100 or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 6:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
in the first debate of the special election cycle, Republican candidates made a case last night for why they should be the GOP nominee to replace Congressman Chris Stewart. I'm KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston.
Second, the Davis School District is returning the Bible to school library shelves after a unanimous vote by the district board.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
We've got almost 2 miles of nearly stopped traffic southbound I-15 heading into Center Street in Provo. That's due to a rollover crash that has 2 right lanes of the freeway blocked. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
70s today with 80s returning by tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 51 downtown.
With KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News.
I'm Sherry Preston. The timing is critical because oxygen is limited for those 5 people aboard a submersible somewhere in the North Atlantic. A Canadian surveillance plane detecting underwater noises as rescue crews continue to search hundreds of miles off the coast of Nova Scotia. ABC's Gio Benitez is in Halifax.
Even if that sub did rise to the surface and they're just floating, waiting to be rescued, that sub is actually bolted shut from the outside, so they need to be found because they are running out of oxygen.
There's enough oxygen on board to last until tomorrow morning.
Let's go in depth here. Another car maker hitching its EV efforts to Tesla's charging network.
Joining us live on the KSL Newsline is ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky. Tell us more about what's going on here, Mike.
Yeah, that's right. So Rivian, which is a startup EV truck maker, they make a pickup truck and an SUV, and they have a contract with Amazon to make electric delivery vans. They announced that they're going to adopt the NACS, or the North American Charging Standard, which sounds very fancy, and it almost sounds like a government program, but no, this is actually Tesla's charging system. This is something that they rolled out many years ago. They have a whole supercharging network of electric vehicle chargers that span the country, and now Rivian, one of their big startup competitors, say that their future vehicles are going to be compatible with this system. And guys, it's important to put this into context because back in May, Ford announced that their future EVs are going to be compatible with Tesla's system, and then a few weeks after that, General Motors announced the same thing, and they're the best seller of EVs in the country behind Tesla. So it seems like a lot of these dominoes are falling in Tesla's favor here.
It does, but it makes me wonder, for the cars that are already sold and have different plugs, will there be adapters so that they can, I mean, you're going to have to know what year is works with these things.
Yes, exactly. So they do say that Rivian says that they're going to sell adapters for people who have bought their trucks now so that they will be compatible with this new system. And that's been the case sort of with these major announcements. Both Ford and GM have kind of made similar rumblings in that direction. But yeah, it's kind of like smartphones, guys, in a lot of ways, right? Like if you buy an iPhone, you get a very specific charger. And if you go over to your friend's house and they don't have an iPhone, you got to figure out a dongle or you got to figure out a different sort of situation. So largely the same in the EV space as well. It's funny how those two are so overlapping.
So are these car companies that are adopting Tesla's system, are they paying Tesla for the privilege?
So it's unclear exactly what the numbers are here, but ostensibly, yes. Yeah, there would be some sort of agreement between Tesla and Rivian, same deal with Ford and General Motors, so that their trucks and vehicles will be using this proprietary technology, right? It's the plug on the vehicle itself, and that would be Tesla's technology that they're using. So you can imagine, yes, there is an agreement of some sort there. That's part of the reason why Tesla would kind of want to get in on this. I think the other part of this discussion that's interesting to talk about is why, one of these competitors to Tesla would want to use Tesla's proprietary technology. One, it's because Tesla's charging network is very broad. There's more than 12,000 supercharger stations across the country. So you can ostensibly do a road trip across the country using only Tesla's charging stations in an electric vehicle. That's pretty impressive. And the existing charging infrastructure that is not Tesla owned, the EV Goes and the Electrify America charging stations that you might see at malls and at gas stations and that sort of thing, they're largely seen as unreliable and not very good products. J.D. Power put out a report earlier this year that found that EV drivers who used public charging stations experienced some kind of malfunction or failure 1 in 5 times.
Oh, wow.
So that's a pretty big deal, and you can imagine these automakers would want to kind of smooth that transition over as we move over to electric vehicles.
For sure.
Yeah, and if you came up on one that wasn't working, you just blame Tesla. That works too.
Exactly.
Mike, always great talking with you this morning. Mike Dubusky is the ABC News technology reporter. Joins us from time to time on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
6:19, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Is it still emergency traffic?
It is. Even though we have 3 left lanes of southbound I-15 open right before you get to Center Street in Provo, the delays are backed up a couple of miles into Orem. So it's going to take a little bit of time for that to clear out as more and more people continue to get onto the freeway. The good news is that northbound I-15, where most of the traffic is traveling at speed from Spanish Fork all the way to the point of the mountain. You have traffic filling in coming out of Eagle Mountain and Saratoga Springs, but no delays yet on Redwood Road or 2100 North. Len.
Heather in Davis and Weber County, smooth flow reality on I-15 rolling out of the Ogden area and on to Salt Lake in around a half hour. Still clogged up, though. Southbound Legacy almost from I-15 in Centerville down to 500 south and Bountiful. one lane open in there somewhere, so it should be hopefully getting that open pretty soon. Also, we've got some pretty good driving on the north end of the I-215 West Belt as you go from the North Exchange down past the National Guard building to I-80. Eric?
Eastbound I-80 out of Tooele County looking pretty good. We don't have any delays, but you do have an accident right before the airport. This is near Wright Brothers Drive. It's over on the right shoulder. Again, that is for eastbounders. I-15 in Salt Lake County looking good from Draper through Murray all the way to downtown Salt Lake. Upgrade your countertops with beautiful quartz or granite. With Bedrock Quartz, it's only 7 days from template to installation. With showrooms in Layton, West Jordan, St. George, and Pleasant Grove. BedrockQuartz.com. Eric Butler at the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts out flawless. Sunny skies today with a high of 77. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, we bump it up to 85. Partly cloudy skies dominate again on Friday, 83, but breezy out of the south. We'll go breezy again Saturday, 82, mostly sunny. Full-blown sunshine on Sunday and Monday, highs in the upper 80s and low 90s. We back it off to 87 by Tuesday, mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Park City's actually flirting with 30s this hour. It's 40 there, 51 in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
You know, you were talking earlier this morning about how the controls on those submersibles, at least one of them, are like they use parts from video game controllers. And
Yeah, it's an actual video game controller. They showed the guy sitting there piloting it from the inside.
We got a text a while ago that said the U.S. Navy uses a device similar to an Xbox controller for some tasks on their ship bridge command centers. Wow.
Yeah.
We appreciate your text on really any topic. You can text us anytime on the Cyprus Credit Union KSL text line 57500.
Coming up, we'll see how the markets are doing. We're off to kind of a slow start this morning with the futures. We'll have the opening bell for you a little more than an hour away.
Howdy, it's Julie from Logan. The price of gas is outrageous right now, but thankfully not all great adventures are far and away. Escape to Logan for tons of fun. Check out a free concert every weekday. Gallop on up for Clarkston's Pony Express Days this weekend. Sing along, well, quietly anyway, with the Lyric Rep's 1950s and 60s musical review, The Marvelous Wonderettes. I saw it already and it's fabulous. They're also premiering a big band version of Shakespeare's comedy Twelfth Night. Chill on Center Street before or after the show and sink your teeth into hand-tossed sourdough pizza, a brew and a burger, hand-dipped chocolates, or delicious goodies from fun cafes. Don't forget, your hotel is only 10 minutes from the National Forest for hiking and biking, bird watching, and wildflower spying. Take gorgeous photos and drink in the stunning scenery. Next weekend, 1,000 classic cars roar into town for the spectacular Cache Valley Cruise-In Car Show. It'll be fun, fun, fun with the Beach Boys in concert. Head to Logan. You won't break the bank on less than a tank. ExploreLogan.com.
Hi, this is Clark Ivory with Ivory Homes. 2023 is turning out to be pretty fantastic. We are consistently selling 20 to 30 homes per week, and we've helped hundreds of families and individuals by buying down their interest rates. Visit an Ivory model home today. You can choose from over 200 home designs and customize your plan just the way you want. Make this a summer to remember. The summer you created your own Ivory home.
If you're getting new gutters, make absolutely sure that you don't get screwed. I mean literally, don't get screwed. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And every single gutter company out there uses screws to hold their gutters together at the corners and downspouts. They use screws because they're fast and cheap and easy. But man, they're terrible for your gutters, aside from possibly cutting your hand. They also loosen and corrode over time because they're not made from the same metal as the gutters. At RGS Exteriors, we've been installing gutters for 70 years now, and we don't use screws. We only use permanent, strong, and unobtrusive rivets. They're made from the same material as the gutters, so they won't oxidize, and they won't corrode. They'll also never loosen. Your hand is safe too. Did I mention they look amazing? So don't get screwed. Call RGS and get riveted gutters. Our number is 801-280-3110, or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110, or rgsutah.com.
Watching Utah's Money brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Amazon announcing this year's Prime Day event will be July 11th and 12th. The sale typically offers Prime members some of the best deals with the highest discounts traditionally on Amazon devices like the Echo or Ring Video Doorbell. Prime members can also sign up for invite-only deals on items that are expected to sell out.
Salt Lake's Outdoor Retailer Show is bringing new interesting outdoor products to the state. One is an e-bike rack for your car that includes a ramp to get up to 2 bikes loaded properly. Another cutting-edge product is a smartwatch that charges itself with built-in solar panels.
Investors are keeping a close eye on a 2-day hearing with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell that kicks off today. He is expected to talk about the next moves against inflation and if that would involve more interest rate hikes. The Fed voted to skip a rate hike last week, saying it will give them a chance to evaluate the impact of the last 10 rate hikes.
Not much movement as far as futures go on the market so far this morning. The Dow is down about 45. The S&P is down less than 8, and the NASDAQ down 44.5.
Our biggest delays on the roads are southbound Legacy Parkway into Bountiful and southbound I-15 between Orem and Provo. We'll check it all next on KSL.
Summertime, of course, means that everybody's routines are kind of blown up. Matter of fact, I've got grandkids at my house right now, and Mason's playing basketball up at the Huntsman Center while Kylie goes to Hogle Zoo or somewhere yesterday. How do you work your meals around that is the question, and we've got an answer for you.
It's called Beehive Meals, and last night we had the Philadelphia cheesesteaks. Oh,
my gosh, yeah.
So I just put it in the crock pot and set it to start. And then whenever we're ready, last night got out the buns, put a little piece of cheese on top. Their food is delicious, and I'm saving so much money, Tim.
Here's one on the menu that caught my eye besides the Philly cheesesteak, which sounded great. Green chili mac and cheese, or pizza pasta, is also on the menu this month. And, of course, it means that you're not just going to have simpler times. It's going to save you money, but it's going to save you time, but it's going to save you money. Mm-hmm. It's less than $3.50 a serving.
They deliver right to my house 10 freezer-ready meals a month. You could get it twice, though, if you wanted to have more than that. And I'm telling you, my family is eating healthier, and the stress on me has gone way down.
Here's the great thing. It's a Utah company, best estate winner the last 2 years. They've already delivered 1 million meals.
Go to beehivemeals.com.
Removing the Bible may be just the beginning.
When the legislature passes a law to preclude certain conduct, sometimes it catches things that they never intended to catch.
In a case of unintended consequences.
This is actually something the majority of parents don't want to see.
Reporter Amy Kobabe goes cover to cover on the story. Battle of the Books, this week on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 6:29. It's emergency traffic this hour, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather, hopefully it's getting close to being cleared out.
All the cars have been moved over to the right shoulder of southbound I-15 in Provo. So all the lanes are now open, but it was backed up for a couple of miles. So it's going to take a few more minutes to get everybody cleared out and back up to speed. But hopefully everybody will be traveling normally here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. We do have traffic filling in if you're going northbound I-15 from Spanish Fork to Point of the Mountain, but no accidents there, no delays, and traffic getting pretty busy on Redwood Road coming out of Saratoga Springs. Len.
Well, it looks like they moved the construction vehicles that were part of the blockage there. We had 1 lane open, still 1 lane open as you make your way from Centerville down to Bountiful. Looks like they're getting that one opened up, though. That's good news. I-15's in good shape all the way between South Weber, South Ogden, and you get all the way to downtown Salt Lake City in good style. Eric?
Northbound Salt Lake County, not bad. I-15 from Draper through Murray all the way to downtown Salt Lake and over on the East Belt and the West Belt. Things heading north in good shape. It's starting to get a little bit more congested in the Mountain View corridor as you work your way from West Jordan up through Taylorsville and, up through West Valley City and onto I-80. Take a break from financial worries. Meet with a Mountain America debt consolidation expert for a chance to win a vacation package. Details at macu.com/debt rescue. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be a high of 77 degrees, so on the cool side, about 10 degrees cooler than normal. But then we warm up into the 80s tomorrow and all the way up to 90 by Monday. Right now, sunny and 51 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time now is 6:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Today is the first day of summer, and it's going to be unseasonably cold.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage, Utah summer. Adam?
Amanda, KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says we're normally in the mid-80s during the summer solstice, but not this year.
We're running a solid 10-plus degrees cooler than that, only forecasting a high of 77 today. It will likely top out in the 50s and 60s in the mountains.
Matt says this is due to cold air lingering coming from the north, which brought some valley rain, even some very high elevation snow in the mountains. But the good news is this is going to be short-lived. Highs go back to the norm tomorrow. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Here's more good summer news. Bullfrog Marina at Lake Powell is back in business for the first time in 2 years. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston continues our live team coverage of a Utah summer. Peter?
Team, get ready to get your boat wet. Because Bullfrog's Marina's ramps are open again. This is big news for people with bigger boats since the main launch ramp and the spur ramp coming off of it has stayed closed for at least a year. The north ramp's been open for much longer, but this marks the first time in months that boats up to 25 feet long can enter the water. To give some context of how much needed to change for this to happen, water levels shot up 60 feet since April. Since April, the marina has grown that high and more. The National Park Service wants boaters to keep an eye out for hazards as they re-enter the lake, like big branches from submerged trees and invasive quagga mussels that clog boat engines. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
We've been keeping tabs on 3 brush fires in or near Utah that started in less than 24 hours apart. One threatened homes, 2 others burned dangerously close to roads. KSL TV's Kara Bracken says the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands has an interactive map to show fire risk in certain areas.
Neighborhoods sitting higher, including one we're hearing from in Mill Creek. They're keeping an eye on the hillsides, which state maps are showing to be at far higher risk than most places in the Salt Lake Valley. So right now we're hearing from firefighters too. They're saying right now be very careful about where you're parking, make sure your chains aren't dragging, especially those ATVs.
Experts say hillsides can look green but may still be at high risk for catching fire.
Quick look at our top national stories this hour. Advocates for transgender youth are celebrating after an Arkansas judge struck down the country's first ban on gender-related medical care for children. The judge calls the ban unconstitutional. Parent Lacey Jenin challenged the ban in court.
I hope other states that try to pass bans like this recognize that and maybe take a step back.
17 other states, including Utah, have similar laws which are also facing potential court challenges.
We continue to get updates on Hunter Biden's deal to plead guilty to a pair of tax-related misdemeanors and enter into a pretrial diversion agreement that would enable him to avoid prosecution on a felony charge.
Hunter is expected to reach a deal on a felony gun charge. He's accused of lying about his drug use on an application when he bought a firearm in 2018. Experts say it's rare for the Justice Department to bring a weapons charge against a nonviolent offender. The White House saying in a statement that the president and first lady love their son and support him.
ABC's M. Wynn reporting.
Plans are underway to bring more housing to downtown Salt Lake City. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla begins our team coverage, Utah Housing.
If you've been driving west of downtown Salt Lake City, you may see quite a bit of construction north of 200 South. It's all part of a master plan to revive the Depot District. Multifamily developments and easy access to public transportation are bringing people back to the area. The location provides quick and easy access to UTA buses, tracks, and the Front Runner.
KSL News Radio's Kate Davis continues our team coverage, Utah Housing, saying eviction rates went up during the first few months of the year, but there's more to the story.
Researchers say a big cause for this is pandemic relief running out, but Executive Director of the Rental Housing Association of Utah, Paul Smith, says evictions have been trending down for the last 15 years.
So we were well above 3% of tenants were evicted annually 15 years ago, and in 2019, the last pre-COVID year, we were at about 2.1%.
Smith says Utah's fair but firm laws are helping evictions go down over the long term. Utah is the 9th lowest state in the country for eviction rates. Kate Davis, KSL News Radio.
Oxygen is quickly running out inside that Titan submersible that went missing over the weekend during a dive to the Titanic wreckage. A Canadian aircraft reported hearing underwater, but the Coast Guard says they found nothing in the search. Fran Capo is an adventurist who went on the sub back in 2005.
There's a bunch of survivor
adventure people down there and need to go into survival mode, which means they're keeping the lights out. They're probably not talking.
The Coast Guard estimates show that oxygen could run out early tomorrow morning.
First look traffic now, and here's Heather Kelly.
Well, good news, the crash is completely cleared. Southbound I-15 in Provo, no vehicles remain on the side of the road, and traffic is back to normal there. But Legacy Parkway is still at a crawl between Centerville and Bountiful. That was due to lane restrictions. They just reopened the left lane of Legacy Parkway southbound, so hopefully speeds will get better there as well. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
An imposter student controversy in Boston, where officials say a 32-year-old woman used falsified identification to attend a public high school, even though she was actually a social worker. A freshman at the school was shocked to hear the woman was older than she appeared.
She sounded like a teenager, like, I can't believe this right now.
The woman is no longer working for a state agency as police investigate.
The NBA draft takes place tomorrow night.
19-year-old Victor Wembanyama arriving in the U.S. from France ahead of tomorrow's NBA draft, where he's expected to be the #1 overall pick. Many calling him the best player to enter the league since LeBron. King James himself weighing in.
For sure, a generational talent.
To say he's tall would be an understatement. He stands at 7'5" with a wingspan larger than that of a bald eagle, and experts say he's just as skillful as he is sizable.
Wow.
And not only is he 7'5", he can stand outside and shoot threes. And
now that's incredible.
When you step out to guard him, he can also take you off the dribble and get to the basket. I don't know how you guard a guy like that.
That's ABC's Andrew Dimbert. The Utah Jazz, by the way, have the 9th, 16th, and 28th pick in the draft.
A lot of speculation the Jazz might trade a couple of those picks away to move up, too. I-15 getting better between Orem and Provo as a southbound crash has been moved completely over to the shoulder. We'll check traffic and weather together next.
Boyd Matheson helps you to think about the news differently.
Hunker down in our own little social media bubbles. We can never have a more important conversation.
Join an elevated conversation. Inside Sources from 1 to 3. Then Jeff Kaplan and his Minute of News on the drive home on KSL News Radio.
With summertime finally here, I know a lot of folks are tempted to go out and barbecue that perfect steak in the backyard. Now, some people are really good at it. Some people are just marginal, like myself. But I'll tell you who has it down to perfection each and every time without fail, and it's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. The perfect place for that deliciously grilled steak that you have been looking for. But it's more than steaks. They have seafood, they have lamb and poultry, sometimes special seasonal dishes are available, and the side dishes, the desserts, are absolutely wonderful at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. And by the way, if this past Father's Day you gave your dear old dad a gift card or an IOU to take him to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, it's time to pay up. It's time to deliver at either location, Hotel Park City or downtown Salt Lake City, 275 South, West Temple.
Are you tired of living with the discomfort and pain caused by varicose veins? Look no further. The Interventional Vascular and Vein Center, or IVC, is excited to announce a special event just for you. Join them on Saturday, June 24th from 9 to 1 in Provo. During this exclusive event, they'll be offering varicose vein screenings. Their highly trained specialists will perform a limited ultrasound on your legs to evaluate you for venous disease. This procedure will help them understand your condition better and provide you with the best possible treatment options. So if you suffer from leg aches and pain, heaviness in your legs, leg swelling, restless leg, blood clots, or even pelvic pain, make sure to mark your calendars and join them at IVC. Don't let these symptoms hold you back any longer, because life starts when the pain stops. Don't miss this opportunity to get the care you deserve. Call 801-379-6700 or visit ivein.com to secure a time for your complimentary assessment on June 24th. Spots are limited, so don't wait.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather?
We're starting to see a bit of congestion in Tooele County now on SR 36. This is northbound through Stansbury Park as you head up to Pole Canyon Road, and then you're going to have more congestion trying to get onto I-80. Now, once you're on the freeway, you've got good speeds on I-80 all the way over to the airport. The 201 freeway, though, has typical delays through the Magna area, approaching 7200 West. Northbound I-15 has most of our traffic, but it's still at speed speed all the way into downtown Salt Lake. Len.
In Davis and Weber counties, all lanes are open now. In Legacy, where there had been only one right lane open, but it's going to take a little while for the clogged flow to get momentum. This is from Centerville, just off of I-15 into Bountiful. And I-15 itself is getting busy and a bit slow southbound from 200 north in Kaysville down to the Ponds. Eric?
Everything back to normal southbound I-15 between Orem and Provo this morning in Utah County after an earlier crash heading into the S-curves. You're back up to normal speed there, nothing left. And northbound I-15 looking good as well. From Spanish Fork to Point of the Mountain, that's a 24-minute drive. If you're out in Eagle Mountain or Saratoga Springs, you're starting to see your typical congestion both on Pioneer Crossing and 2100 North heading from Redwood Road eastbound over to the freeway. Update your kitchen with Durden's Appliance, where they meet any competitor's price. Visit Durdens.com or on Pitt South and Bountiful. Durden's, brands you know at prices you'll love. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
I'm dialing up a perfect first day of summer. How about a high of 77 with sunny skies? 55 overnight with clear skies. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high of 85. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Sun's up and it's beautiful out there, 51 degrees.
I did not know until this morning that submersible company, I guess, that's running the submersible that they're searching for right now had some safety issues before.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
So we're going to find out more from Clayton Neville just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Stay with us at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM, and thanks for riding along on this Wednesday morning with your all-day companion for news.
Calling all Utah locals. See the Southwest by rail on board Rocky Mountaineer. They've extended their latest offer until June 30th. Save up to $1,200 per couple. Visit RockyMountaineer.com to book.
There's never been a better time to go and discover this country. There's also never been a better time to buy a new motorhome. First thing, go to General RV during our Integra Motorhome Day sales event, June 21st through the 24th. Get up to 40% off Class A, B, and C motorhomes, making our prices the lowest in years. Save big on a new Integra motorhome now and discover how to have it all anywhere. Just head on down to General RV in Draper off I-15.
With our roots in northern Utah, Holy Cross Hospital has a legacy of caring to help every person be whole and healthy. Find us at 5 Holy Cross Hospital locations and more than 45 clinics along the Wasatch Front. Learn more at holycrossutah.org.
At Holy Cross Hospital, we're honored to carry the legacy of our namesake and equally honored to care for northern Utah's vibrant communities. Find us at 5 Holy Cross Hospital locations and more than 45 clinics along the Wasatch Front. Learn more at holycrossutah.org.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Time this morning for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News.
South Africa's largest rhino farm has gone bankrupt, and so they're looking for anyone who wants to adopt and love 2,000 of these giant rhinos. So talk to your family about snapping up a few and helping preserve this species. Ask your kids, should we buy our family a rhino? They're so big, I know. But cute and wrinkly as animals get, a rhino might just be a pet. That giant horn won't attack you. She'd probably just try and smack you because the giant horn is ornamental. Their favorite weapon is actually dental. Upset a rhino and she'll unsheath a giant row of shiny teeth. It sounds a little bit too corny, but the horn just shows a rhino's horny. And by the way, it's not a bone. That sharpened, curved, and giant cone is tangled nose hair. Think it's not? It's mixed with hard and dried up snot. You thought it was so majestic, but its origins are most pathetic. An 8-foot nose horn that's conceived by what blows out when you might sneeze. Would you want a rhino as a pet? Please, do not decide just yet. I've read up and investigated. They cannot be domesticated, but they can recognize a human. It won't say, hello, Newman. It will have some idea you're there, but its eyes are split by that horn right there. And while we're on this vision topic, a rhino's eyes are both myopic. They need, from the day they're born, glasses perched upon that horn. But if you had one as a pet, you'd be popular, I bet, from north to west and south and east. Folks would come to see your beast. But what in the heck would you do with 50 daily pounds of poo that's left behind in little mounds by a beast that weighs 5,000 pounds? This is why you might consider a dog named Rex or a horse named Trigger. A rhino? You'd eventually despise her, unless you need some fertilizer.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 6:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
Salt Lake City is getting more housing in the Depot District. Meanwhile, Utah's eviction rates are up right now, but pretty much on par with pre-pandemic levels. I'm KSL News Radio's Kate Davis.
Second, today is the first official day of summer, with the summer solstice taking place at 8:57 this morning.
Third, of course, traffic and weather together.
Davis County drivers have the biggest delays right now. They start southbound I-15 from Layton into Kaysville, but if you transition onto Legacy Parkway, you're still at a crawl as you leave Farmington, head through most of Centerville into Bountiful. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's a perfect first day of summer, 77 with sunny skies. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 53 downtown.
With KSL's top national stories.
A Canadian aircraft detecting underwater noises in the search for the Titan submersible missing since Sunday. So far, though, nothing has been found. ABC's Gio Benitez in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
It was last heard from an hour and 45 minutes into its dive, but OceanGate not sounding the alarm for another several hours. The Coast Guard saying they then activated rescue crews immediately. All 5 people inside the sub now identified. British explorer and billionaire Hamish Harding, businessman Shahzada Dawood and his 19-year-old son Suleiman, world-renowned Titanic researcher and diver P.H. Narjoulé, and the CEO of OceanGate, Stockton Rush.
Continued criticism from Republicans over the plea deal worked out for Hunter Biden, son of President Biden. Under the agreement, he is admitting he failed to pay taxes, prosecutors recommending probation. Operators of the Texas power grid pleading with homeowners and business owners to curtail their use of electricity to prevent a massive meltdown. Another day of triple-digit temperatures in the forecast. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Let's go in depth on that missing submersible. It's estimated that they have 24 hours of oxygen left.
America in the Morning's Clayton Neville has the latest on the search, and he also looks at some safety concerns that were raised about the company in the past.
The pilot and 4 passengers on board the Titan have about a day's left of oxygen supply, according to the U.S. Coast Guard, which is part of a multi-agency search.
You're dealing with a surface search and a subsurface search, and frankly, that makes it an incredibly complex operation.
U.S. Coast Guard Captain Jamie Frederick says the teams are using an ROV, that's a remotely operated vehicle, to search for the vessel that passengers reportedly paid $250,000 to ride into the ocean floor to see wreckage of Titanic, which of course sunk in 1912.
It's a unique operation. It's a challenging operation, but right now we're focused on putting everything we can at it and searching as hard as we can and getting the assets out there as quickly as we can.
Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh says that the U.S. Navy is now involved in the search.
Working to provide personnel, such as subject matter experts, and assets as quickly as possible.
The Navy deploying its Flyaway Deep Ocean Salvage System, which is designed for heavy lifting in the deep sea. Captain Frederick says that Canadian search teams are part of the mission hundreds of miles off the coast of Cape Cod. OceanGate, the company that owns the vessel, confirms that its CEO, Stockton Rush, was piloting the Titan when it lost communication with its research vessel.
Yeah, so right now, all of our efforts are focused on finding the sub. What I will tell you is we have a group of our nation's best experts in the Unified Command, and if we get to that point, those experts will be looking at what the next course of action is.
Rush was featured in a CBS report months ago that raised some safety concerns.
We can use these off-the-shelf components. I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Questions on safety likely to resurface down the road, but for now, the search continues. The U.S. Air Force flying all rescue-related cargo from New York to St. John's, Newfoundland, where rescuers work against the clock. I'm Clayton Neville.
We'll be sure to follow ABC for any new information throughout the morning. KSL News Time 6:49, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Back to you, Heather.
We're still looking pretty good northbound I-15 from Point of the Mountain into Salt Lake. Traffic is definitely filling in. You might see some heavier pockets of traffic, but so far no brake lights showing up. You do have slowdowns, though, on SR 36 coming out of Stansbury Park and on the 201 freeway through Magna. And we just heard a report of a crash on 900 West at 1700 South. I don't think emergency crews have arrived on scene yet, so that may start slowing people down once they do arrive. Len.
Looking at Davis County, it's a little bit slower coming out of Layton on through Kaysville down to the ponds there, as it's just a heavy traffic developing in the morning. And still have a slow flow on the Legacy Parkway, pretty much from I-15 in Centerville down to Bountiful. They do have all lanes open there now, but it's quite a few cars backed up, and they're slowly starting to pick up a little bit of momentum there. Otherwise, the north end of I-215 is looking pretty good from the North Exchange, taking the swing around on the curve and down to I-80. Eric?
Got a crash in Provo Canyon this morning. This is westbound on 189 past the Sundance exit. Once you go through that tunnel right as you get out of there, the crash is over on the right shoulder. So just be aware that there's something going on. I-15 Utah County northbound, no problem. Southbound, we had a crash earlier between Orem and Provo in the S-curves, and that caused some significant delays for a little while, but now that's all cleared up, no problems. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Call 974-9090 or visit superiorwaterandair.com. Superior Water and Air, we got this. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. You couldn't have planned it better today. 77 and sunny skies for your June 21st summer solstice. 85 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. Goes breezy on Friday, 83 and partly cloudy. Mostly sunny, breezy, 82 on Saturday. We'll then go 87 on Sunday, sunny skies. We keep it sunny on your Monday, but 90, backing it off to 87 on Tuesday, mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, sunny and 53 degrees, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We were just watching one of the networks this morning eating ice cream for this first day of summer. We're a little jealous.
I want ice cream. I love ice cream.
I told you I took my grandson a couple of days ago, a little celebratory thing, because he hit a 3 on the home floor at the Huntsman.
Way to go.
So we went out for a shake. Medium shake, $9. When did shakes become almost $10?
Yeah.
That wasn't even a large.
Yeah, you could buy. How many quarts could you buy with $9?
I don't know, but goodness gracious, the cost of things. Speaking of money, we'll check your money news coming up next.
Would you be upset if you lost $111,000 in retirement income? Get this, 96% of Americans, 96% lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a free report, the Social Security Decisions Guide from Boss Retirement Solutions, a 5-time winner of Utah's Best of State Award. If you saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get this free report by calling 801-682-4448. This free report is loaded with critical information that can help you avoid losing $111,000 in Social Security income. So call 801-682-4448. That's 801-682-4448. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
Bish's RV has the best customers on the planet, so we're straight up spoiling you during Customer Appreciation Month. You'll get employee pricing on select RVs. Go to Bish's.com and click Get Lowest Price, and you're set for a summer like no other. And how about 90 days no payments for all play and no pay OAC? We'll also trade anything. Just ask. Same goes for remaining 2022s. Pricing could not be lower. Right now during Customer Appreciation Month at Bish's RV in North Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The owner of a car repair shop who paid a former employee with almost 100,000 oily pennies had been ordered by a judge to pay nearly $4 million more cents.
So wait, did he put the pennies in oil and then take them over?
Because he was forced to pay a final check. The worker says the owner, Miles Walker, might as well name him here, dumped the amount of his final paycheck in his driveway along with a pay stub signed with an expletive. What a lovely man.
Yes.
A federal judge ruled Walker owes almost $40,000 to 9 workers for unpaid overtime and damages.
You know, that guy needs meditation is what he needs. Let's see. Domino's is launching something called Anywhere Delivery that lets customers get their food without an address. The app tracks a GPS dot from wherever your phone is. So the pizza chain says their pinpoint delivery service is great for summertime if you're out, at a beach or a park or something like that.
I wonder if the Domino's delivery guys are happy that they have to then go to the beach and search for the right person on the right towel.
Yeah, because that could require some trekking around.
Yeah, which means
that'd be a challenge.
Means a longer day, and your fee, the money you get off of that.
You better be tipping more
purchase.
if you're doing it that way.
I would think so. A British home building company is forecasting a 20% drop in home sales over the next year thanks to rising interest rates. The company's CEO says confidence probably won't come back to the housing market until interest rates settle down.
We're about a half hour from the opening bell, and the Dow futures are down 86, which is 0.25%. S&P futures are off 11, that's 0.25%. The Nasdaq futures off 51, which is 0.3%.
Starting to see some slowing northbound now on Bangerter from 5400 south up to the 201 highway. Still slow southbound Legacy Parkway through Centerville. Traffic and weather together coming up next.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. It's been widely reported that IQ scores are down in the U.S. for the first time in decades. So says scientists from Northwest University and the University of Oregon. The same trend has been detected in other countries. But is it really a trend? People are less interested in pen and paper tests, especially ones developed in 1932. In the last 20 years, we've added emotional intelligence to our vernacular. How we collaborate with others and regulate our own feelings makes us more capable than just raw knowledge. Just look around this world at the problems we are solving and creating. Clearly, this generation is smarter, and clearly this generation has yet to show that they're smart enough. Get smarter with an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of my classes.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and whatever, just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors. Gorilla Glue, of course. Gorilla Glue is incredibly strong, 100% waterproof, and bonds virtually everything. Gorilla Glue, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Even before the pandemic, 1 in 5 American adults experience some form of mental illness, depression, suicide, prescription opioid misuse. Utah isn't immune to our share of challenges, but there is hope. We need to take action to keep our loved ones safe. That's why KSL has teamed with the University of Utah Huntsman Mental Health Institute to bring you hope and help you thrive. It's Healthy Mind Matters. Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
6:59, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather?
Looks like we're starting to hit the peak of our rush hour delays right now, especially on the 201 freeway. Eastbounders are going to have the sun in their windshields. That slows everybody down with the glare. And then you just got a lot of traffic right now as you make your way from Magna all the way over to the west side belt. Bangerter Highway also has some stop-and-go traffic heading between 6200 south and the 201 freeway. Then I-15 has its first brake lights of the morning as you approach South Salt Lake. Len.
In Davis and Weber counties, a KSL traffic trooper texter letting us know that he's saying the Westgate to Hill Air Force Base is backed up there. Looking at that in the cameras, see a little bit there. Otherwise, all lanes are open on Legacy where there had been that right lane only, but it's going to take a while for the clogged flow to get momentum, and it is starting to pick up a little bit. That's from Centerville off to I-15. And still busy and a little slow as you make your way southbound I-15, 200 north in Kaysville over to the Ponds. Eric?
So got a modest amount of congestion if you're exiting I-15 Utah County at University Avenue in Provo. The same is true at Pleasant Grove Boulevard. But I-15 continues to look great throughout the county. Santa Quinta, Point of the Mountain, that's 30-minute drive. Is the IRS harassing you? Are tax problems ruining your life? Let Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox help. Visit Tax Help UT. That's taxhelput.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
77 degrees for a high today. Right now, 53. And look at that sunshine. That is going to last all day long on this summer solstice. So enjoy.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen on the KSL News Radio app and in your car at 102.7 FM. KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
It's 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. Good morning, I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story on the 7 o'clock report.
11 Republicans took to the debate stage last night to explain why they think that they're the right person to replace Congressman Chris Stewart in this fall special election.
KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston joins us live with a recap. Peter?
Amanda, it was the first debate of this election cycle, and all but two of the GOP candidates made the case that they're Congress material. Former State Representative Becky Edwards emphasized that this was her old district that she was actually standing in at the time of the debate, and House Speaker Greg Hughes was flexing his position as former House Speaker. The debate was split in two, with 6 candidates facing each other in the first hour and the remaining 5 during the last. Family values, the debt ceiling, and Trump versus DeSantis in 2024 were hot topics. There'll be one more debate this Saturday before the primary election in September. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
Davis School District officials have voted to bring the Bible back to its district libraries. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with the details. Adam?
Tim, after weeks of review and criticism from lawmakers, the Davis School District Board voted unanimously to bring the Bible back. Utah Senator Todd Weiler tells Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News the Bible should never fall under the X-rated content cited in the state's news-sensitive materials law.
This doesn't apply to religious texts, and I would say not just the Bible, but the Quran and the Book of Mormon and other religious texts.
KSL.com reports a committee previously decided to pull the Bible from junior high and elementary school, citing vulgarity and violence that may not be appropriate for young kids. Reporting live in Davis County, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. A growing number of Republican leaders are speaking out against the plea deal the Justice Department made with Hunter Biden. Documents entered in court show the president's son has agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax-related charges and enter a pretrial diversion program to avoid prosecution on a felony gun charge.
To my knowledge, this is the first time in our nation's history that a sitting president's child has agreed to criminal charges on a federal level. The very government that his father oversees. That's pretty unprecedented.
Former Republican Congressman John Katko says he thinks the plea deal is a step in the right direction for the DOJ, but he also says the investigation is ongoing.
KSL News Radio's Hugo Rickard-Bell continues our team coverage.
If you buy a firearm illegally, you could be facing serious time. ABC legal analyst Royal Oakes told KSL at night.
Theoretically, you could have gotten 10 years for the gun charge, and a lot of people are saying, well, this is a two-tiered system of justice. But in this particular case, it's not a shock to find that somebody who is acknowledging, I was a drug addict, I shouldn't have been buying a gun, but I did. It wouldn't be a shock to have them get probation.
Hunter Biden is also pleading guilty for not filing over $100,000 in taxes in what some people are calling a sweetheart deal. But the judge could still say that the deal is too soft and not agree to it. Hugo Rickard-Bell, KSL News Radio.
America's top diplomat is in London this morning, meeting with his counterparts from around the world. Secretary Blinken delivered remarks at an international conference focused on the eventual reconstruction of war-torn Ukraine.
The United States will stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes. And that includes being by Ukraine's side as it recovers from this catastrophic Russian aggression.
Blinken also announced an additional $1.3 billion in U.S. aid for Kyiv.
Still no sign of that missing Titan submersible that dove down Sunday to the wreckage of the Titanic. A Canadian aircraft has detected what they describe as underwater noises, but the Coast Guard says they have found nothing.
Back in 2018, industry experts expressed concern about the Titan sub in a letter addressed to Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate, which operates the sub. In that letter, obtained by the New York Times and later authenticated by ABC News, the Marine Technology Society warned of potentially catastrophic problems with the Titan's development that could have serious consequences.
ABC's Lionel Moise says the Navy is now sending experts and equipment that can lift up to 60,000 pounds designed for recovering large undersea objects in the event the sub is located. But if the crew is trapped on the ocean floor, they're facing extreme conditions.
President Biden says the Chinese president was unaware back in February that his country's spy balloon was over American airspace.
President Biden telling donors at a California fundraiser that China's President Xi was upset when Mr. Biden shot down a balloon with what he said was 2 boxcars full of spy gear, in large part because President Xi didn't know it was there. Mr. Biden then said, "That's a great embarrassment for dictators. He didn't know what happened." The president also saying that Xi Jinping wants a good relationship with the U.S.
ABC's Andy Field reporting from Washington.
First look traffic now on the 7 o'clock report. Let's get back over to Heather Kelly.
Well, the slowest traffic right now is the 201 freeway eastbound as you make your way between 7200 West and Bangerter Highway. This is mostly due to the sun glare on people's windshields as the sun comes over the mountains. Northbound I-15, though, you're going to see a few brake lights between Murray and South Salt Lake. And southbound I-15 also slow in Kaysville. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather now with Matt Johnson. It is the first day of summer, but Mother Nature has kept the thermostat on the cooler side.
So some of that cold air has lingered, even though the showers are gone. It is lingering for today. But don't be worried. We do have warmer weather headed our way. We'll easily bump up into the mid-80s as early as tomorrow. We keep it in the 80s. We might even hit 90 as early as next Monday.
Matt says we may start seeing consistent 90s after next week.
Just in case you're wondering about the timing, the summer solstice takes place next hour, 8:57 a.m. to be exact. That means today has more sunlight than any other day of the year, 15 hours and 6 minutes.
I was reading, Tim, this morning that the solstice happens at the point in time when the sun is the farthest north in the northern hemisphere. And then the winter solstice is when it's the farthest south. So that's something I didn't know.
So that's going to happen in a little less than an hour, or a couple of hours anyway.
It's been a scorching start to summer in Texas, where temperatures rose well above 100 degrees yesterday. One town along the border with Mexico reached 118. ABC's Jim Ryan has more from Dallas.
The operators of the Texas power grid are pleading with home and business owners to curtail their use of electricity to prevent a massive meltdown. Advice from the pros.
If you have ceiling fans in a house, run those. It's going to draw a lot less electricity than the air conditioner will.
Vic Fredlin runs an HVAC company in Austin. In the kitchen, he says,
if you're running a 400-degree oven, then you're creating more heat.
Texas set an all-time record for power consumption on Monday, 2 days before the start of summer. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
A section of SR 14 near Cedar City is closed right now because of a rock slide. Officials say they don't know how long it's going to be closed. No one was reported injured in the slide.
American Fork Canyon is open once again after high winds knocked down power lines this week. The Canyon Road was closed for a few days as crews worked on repairs.
Flash flood warnings in the western part of North Carolina after heavy rainfall there led to more than 24 rescues. This man said he was trying to return home only to be met by officers detouring him after a river went over its banks.
On the way here, I saw a bunch of lights, and I asked the officers about possibly going around through the other side, and they mentioned that the whole neighborhood has been evacuated, so I highly doubt I'll be able to get home today or anytime this week.
Reports are that several homes right now are surrounded by water.
A U.S. task force is encouraging adults between the ages of 19 and 64 to get screened for anxiety disorders. A U.S. Preventative Services task force says depression rates are on the rise. Data shows 1 in 6 adults experiences depression at some point in their lives. While anxiety and depression are different conditions, they usually happen together.
May's median home sale price was the highest since June of last year. It came in at $3,000 less than the high of $426,000. The National Association of Realtors report new listings also went up 10% since April. In Salt Lake, home sales jumped a little more than 10%. KSL News Time 7:09. Traffic and weather together is again brought to you this morning by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Let's go back over to Heather Kelly.
We're looking good in the Salt Lake Valley overall. No crashes reported on the freeways, I-15, the West Side Belt, or the 201 freeway. But you definitely have delays eastbound 201 as you make your way from Magna all the way over to Bangerter Highway. Northbound I-15 has some brake lights showing up from Murray into South Salt Lake. And we still have a report of a crash near downtown Salt Lake. This is 900 West 1700 South, emergency crews on the scene. We're seeing a little bit of slowing in the area. Len.
Looking at Davis County right now, it's improving as you make your way on the Legacy Parkway. Just a little bit of slowing as you come off Centerville there, where they had one lane open. Now I think that flow has gone down to the north end of the I-215 because it's a little bit slow as you make your way after the bend down past the National Guard area and in Rose Park. Otherwise, I-15 still a little bit slow, but improving. A little slow in Kaysville. Eric?
Along the 215 eastbound, looks good heading north out of Cottonwood Heights up past Holiday all the way to the mouth of Barley's Canyon. If you're heading out through the canyon this morning out to Park City, I-80, no problems there. Down Utah County, I-15 northbound, southbound, that's looking good. Two Brothers Mattress, your locally owned Serta mattress dealer. Visit any Two Brothers Mattress location from Salt Lake to Orem. Find sale prices now at twobrothersmattress.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast. We start off a little chilly today. How about mid-50s at 7 a.m. with sunny skies, light and variable winds? Lunch hour, hey, how about some light winds out of the northwest? Temperature right around 69, sunny skies. End of the afternoon, we hold on to sunshine, but the temperatures absolutely perfect. Will top out right around 77. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Yeah, you want to talk about a perfect day. Just look out the window what we have right now. Sunny, blue skies, and 53 this hour.
I want to learn more about this, and we will in just a moment. There was a police raid on the Olympic headquarters in Paris. What the heck?
Yeah.
What was that all about? Well, I guess we'll find out. Coming up in just a couple of minutes here on KSL.
Speed bumps will soon be installed along 13 South in Salt Lake City. It's welcome news for some, but not everyone. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson reports.
Neighbors told KSL 5 they are concerned about speeders along 13th South after a sixth grader from Bonneville Elementary was hit and killed walking home from school at 2100 East last November. Some, like Kevin Mustard, believe the solution, the addition of speed bumps and a raised sidewalk, is being pushed through without their input.
I have seen nothing to the effect that any notification of what's going on here.
The city says they sent out postcards, had 3 meetings that allowed for public comment on the matter. Work is expected to begin late this summer. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
The First Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is announcing open house and dedication dates for the Orem Temple that's under construction right now. The open house will run from the end of October through the middle of December. It will be dedicated on January 21st. The Provo Temple will close for reconstruction at the end of February.
The NBA's next big star spoke to Good Morning America's Robin Roberts one day ahead of the draft. Of course, it's 19-year-old Victor Wembanyama, a 7'5" phenom from France, which is not easy for us to say, and expected to be, of course, the number 1 pick.
How do you deal with the pressure that goes along with the anticipation of you?
I have such high expectations for myself, and I'm so determined that the expectations of others are nothing compared to what I expect of myself.
7'5" phenom from France. The Utah Jazz have the 9th, 16th, and the 28th pick in the draft tomorrow.
And what did LeBron James call him? A generational player.
Yeah.
Wow. Gas is slowly getting cheaper again in much of the country, but not everywhere, says ABC's Alex Stone.
The price of gas has been bobbing up and down in recent weeks, and now we're on the downward side of that bobbing overall. Many areas have been following the trends of oil prices. The Energy Department reports in the past week the average price of regular unleaded went down 2 cents to $3.58 a gallon. That's $1.39 cheaper than last year at this time. And a bit of a shock, whereas historically California always has the highest prices. Now Washington State has the highest prices, $4.77 on average for regular unleaded, up due to several reasons, including pipeline maintenance. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Trending this hour on the 7 o'clock report, a UK zoo is caring for 4 new baby vampire deer. They're named that way because they have a set of sharp teeth. The deer weighed around 14 ounces when they were born and are about the size of a soda can. The tiny deer are considered to be a threatened species, and they're so small that they're raised in an enclosed space so birds don't take off with them.
I've never heard of vampire deer.
And I don't want one in my backyard.
No. A famous tattoo artist in Amsterdam is tattooing Rembrandt's masterpieces on the skin of visitors. The Rembrandt House Museum has turned one of its rooms into a tattoo parlor. Several tattoo artists are joining famous artist Henk Schiffmaker, giving tattoos for a week starting Monday. The specialized tattoos cost between $50 and $250.
It's crazy we're talking about this because I was there for the grand opening on Friday.
Oh, my gosh.
It's actually, there are a couple of big kickboxing stars of the Netherlands that are a part of that tattoo parlor.
Oh, my gosh.
So they had a big celebration on the grand opening. It is 7:14 and time for the 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
the Davis School District has unanimously voted to once again allow the Bible in its libraries. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, speed bumps will soon be installed along 13th South in Salt Lake City. It is welcome news from some who say people drive too fast on that road.
Third, of course, traffic and weather together.
We're looking at delays on the 201 freeway eastbound, several miles from 7200 west all the way over to Bangerter Highway. No crashes, just a lot of traffic. And traffic continues to get busy and fill in on I-15 both directions into Salt Lake. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look now at the weather forecast here on KSL.
It's a perfect first day of summer, 77 with sunny skies. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 53 degrees downtown.
With KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A noise detected in the Atlantic Ocean as the search goes on for those 5 people aboard a submersible headed to see the wreckage of the Titanic. A Canadian surveillance aircraft heard something underwater, but a subsequent Coast Guard search turned up nothing. There's ABC's Lana Moise.
The Navy is now sending experts and equipment that can lift up to 60,000 pounds, designed for recovering large undersea objects in the event the sub is located. But if the crew is trapped on the ocean floor, they're facing extreme conditions.
And they're still searching. Excessive heat expected for one more day across Texas, and even that may be an understatement.
This is Jim Ryan in Dallas, where a forecast high of 111 on this first day of summer seems mild compared to some parts of Texas in an attempt to save electricity.
A lot of people, when they leave for the day, they turn the thermostat up, and some of them actually turn it off.
It's a good thought, says Austin AC specialist Vic Fredlin, but
when you get home and it's been 100 degrees outside, that air conditioner is going to run so much longer to bring it back down to your set point than had you just turned it up a couple degrees and let it run while you were gone.
Operators of the state's power grid are urging conservation to prevent an overload. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Another type of weather system in the Caribbean. It's early in the season, but Tropical Storm Brett could strengthen into a hurricane by this weekend. In prepared remarks to be delivered to a congressional committee this morning, Fed Chair Jerome Powell will say that most Federal Reserve officials expect to raise interest rates even further this year since inflation is still excessive. Saying her child's health was her main concern, Lacey Jenin is pleased that a federal judge has struck down a ban on gender-affirming care for minors in Arkansas.
I hope other states that try to pass bans like this recognize that and maybe take a step back.
She had challenged the ban in court, and a judge agreed, saying it was unconstitutional to deny medical care that improves mental health and well-being of patients. You're listening to ABC News.
Let's go in depth here. We're learning more about a police raid we told you about yesterday on the offices of the Paris Olympic Committee in France.
ABC's Tom Soufi Burridge has the update.
The organisers of next summer's Olympics here in Paris in the spotlight this morning. We now know there are 2 investigations into lucrative contracts linked to next year's Olympic and Paralympic Games. French police raiding the offices of the Paris Olympics Organising Committee and the public company overseeing construction projects for the Games. Investigators considering possible misuse of public funds, conflicts of interest and favouritism in awarding of contracts. France's anti-corruption agency involved. Paris 2024 saying it's actively cooperating with investigators, adding it has adopted, quote, stringent procedures to ensure the transparency and propriety of several hundred contracts awarded. The International Olympics Committee aware of events here in the French capital. This morning, French anti-corruption campaigners calling for a speedy investigation. Earlier this year, it emerged the total cost of the Paris Games had risen from $7 to around $10 billion.
Isn't the problem, though, with the corruption all through the IOC?
Oh, it's been going on forever.
Yeah.
Remember, a bunch of sponsors in 2002 bailed on the games here in Salt Lake City just before because of the bribery schemes that were going on.
And I've heard stories about different members of the IOC that it's just a matter of course. It's a matter of doing business that they expect. Now, I'm not sure if it's exact cash or whether it's some sort of favors or contracts in this case. That's just a matter of doing business.
And when you're talking about that kind of money on an international scale with all the biggest names, any company you could name involved, you just know that there's going to be temptation for that. But one of Mitt Romney's big successes was the ability to fund those games in the face of that and, of course, the terrorism of 9/11. And we pulled it off well, still are doing well here for Olympics. 7:19.
Let's get a look now at traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather?
Things are getting worse on the 201 freeway right now. This is eastbound. Even before you get to 7200 West, you'll be hitting the brakes pretty hard, and that slowing continues all the way over to Bangalore Highway. Now, we've never heard of a crash in that area. Typically, this time of the morning, traffic is slow, but not to this extent. So something extra is slowing everybody down if you're coming out of Tooele County on the 201. Northbound I-15 still pretty much at freeway speeds from Point of the Mountain into downtown Salt Lake. Just a few brake lights from time to time in the Murray area. Len?
Well, in Weber and Davis County, the northbound 15 ramp to the Westgate Hill Field is backed up onto the off-ramp, or the on-ramp, rather. Let's get the off-ramp from I-15 up to the gate. It's pretty much full there, back to the main flow. Otherwise, I-15 is slow again from just before Kaysville on down to the ponds, and Legacy Parkway is all cleared out. A little bit of slowing remains as you make your way around the north interchange on I-15, the west belt, just before you get to I-80. Eric?
22 minutes northbound from Springville to Point of the Mountain. If you're on I-15 in Utah County, everything is progressing as normal. If you're coming out of Saratoga Springs, that's also normal because you've got some delays on Pioneer Crossing as you approach Saratoga Road. 2100 north, not too bad right now, eastbound from Redwood Road over to the freeway entrance point. Take a break from financial worries. Meet with a Mountain America debt consolidation expert for a chance to win a vacation package. Details at macu.com/debt rescue. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts out flawless. Sunny skies today with a high of 77. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, we bump it up to 85. Partly cloudy skies dominate again on Friday, 83, but breezy out of the south. We'll go breezy again Saturday, 82, mostly sunny. Full-blown sunshine on Sunday and Monday. Highs in the upper 80s and low 90s. We back it off to 87 by Tuesday. Mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
I know I've said it before, but really, what a day. Perfect out there. 53 degrees, sunny skies, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
It's time for the Dave and Dujanovic preview, and Dave, you've got a big interview today.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to have Jazz owner Ryan Smith on at 10 o'clock. Because we're going to talk about the huge decision, and I cannot overstate how huge this is, that the Jazz are leaving cable television, Dish Network, DirecTV, whatever, all the satellite guys, and they're going rabbit ears, over-the-air, free Jazz games.
I can see people are happy. People driving in this morning clapping.
Yeah.
Like, this was so too good to be true. I had heard rumors about it for a long time. I thought there is no way you give up tens of millions of dollars, and that's what we're talking about. Tens of millions of dollars to broadcast games live just to give access to every Utahn the Jazz games. This is how I grew up. May 31st, 1994, the greatest moment of my life. John Stockton hits the shot to go to the NBA Finals. Now, that wasn't on KJazz, but I was a Jazz fan that watched every single broadcast game. And slowly, over the years, as it's become more exclusive, more expensive to watch Jazz games, my kids didn't grow up watching Jazz games like I did. They are not the Jazz fans that I am. I'm insane. I'm nuts. I love the Jazz. My kids are not the same because they didn't have access.
Yeah, my son was really happy, too, because he's been missing watching the games.
Jazz ownership knows that while they rebuild this team, they need to make sure they're rebuilding their fan base, too. And
that's smart.
It's a great way to do it.
Ryan Smith today at 10 o'clock.
Looking forward to it. As always, Dave and Dujanovic, 9 to noon on KSL News Radio, where the news time is 7:23.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Since 1914, Utah Paper Box has been a staple in the Salt Lake Valley. Over the years, this packaging factory has learned how to provide its services from design, pre-press, and printing to die cutting, stamping, and finishing in an eco-friendlier way. CEO Steve Kaiser tells us more.
At Utah Paper Box, our mission is to be a valuable resource for our customers through creative and innovative packaging, and also a responsible steward of our environment, community, and employees. We pride ourselves on being a small business that can provide high-quality, eye-catching custom packaging for both small local startups and large national brands such as Smith Optics and Casper's Ice Cream. What's more, we have committed to doing so sustainably. At Utah Paper Box, sustainability is one of our 6 core values. We have worked hard to become a sustainable and eco-friendly company and are proud to be a leader in our industry for environmental causes. We source from sustainable forests and divert 90% of our waste from landfills. Our headquarters is LEED Gold certified, and 20% of the power comes from solar energy. Not only that, but our first electric semi-truck is arriving this fall, first of its kind in the state. Come check us out at upbslc.com.
Utah Paper Box is committed to exceeding customer expectations, providing top quality paper products, and caring about our environment. See what this local packaging supplier can do for you. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical, and I wanted to let you know what you can expect when you walk into one of our 10, soon to be 11 stores. This story came to us from one of our many 5-star Google reviews.
I was panicked and needed help. My daughter had a serious family emergency and I needed to travel out of town, but I couldn't haul my oxygen tanks with me. I needed portable oxygen. I tried several companies and they all said I didn't have a prescription. I went to Alpine and they called my doctor. 20 minutes later, I was on my way with a portable oxygen machine.
At Alpine Home Medical, we understand how urgent your healthcare needs can be. We'll do everything we can to exceed your expectations. Let us help you bring wellness home. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
alpinehomemedical.com.
Watching Utah's Money brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. One of the biggest newspaper publishers in the U.S., Gannett, is suing people over their digital ad service, or suing Google, suing Google over their digital ad services. The lawsuit accuses Google of violating antitrust laws and having a monopoly on the ad market. They claim Google's ad services are actually driving down revenue for news outlets.
California is thinking about charging homeowners for utilities based on their income. 3 major utility companies in the state have drawn up plans to create this sliding scale in response to a new state law.
A new program is offering cash and free outdoor adventures to remote workers if they move to West Virginia. The program is aimed at offsetting population loss in the state. Successful applicants will get $12,000 and free passes for whitewater rafting, golf, rock climbing, and more. The full package is worth about $20,000.
Yeah, they just figured if you're a remote worker, maybe it's easy for you to do that.
Come on down.
And they've got some riverfront property for you right there. The Dow Jones Industrial Futures just ahead of the bell are still down by 100 points now, about 0.3%. The S&P is off 15. The NASDAQ this hour down almost a 0.5 percentage point, or 69.
We've got eastbound delays on the 201 freeway from Magna over to the Bangerter exit. Excuse me. We'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead.
Experience the rail journey of a lifetime and see the Southwest like never before on board Rocky Mountaineers' Rockies to the Red Rocks route. You'll take in vast canyons and breathtaking mountains between Moab and Denver. You'll enjoy world-class all-inclusive food and beverage service on board a glass-dome train with a view unimaginable. You'll stay one night in historic Glenwood Springs, Colorado, and look forward to the next day's adventure winding along towering canyons, breathtaking plains, and magnificent mountains. You'll ride the rails through Ruby Canyon and admire the scenery through oversized windows, a view you'd never see from a car. Rocky Mountaineer is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and they've extended their latest offer till June 30th. Save up to $1,000 per couple. And as a Utah local, you can save an extra $100 per person. Seats are limited. Visit RockyMountaineer.com before June 30th to book your luxurious, exciting adventure right now. That's RockyMountaineer.com.
Ready, set, go. The race to replace Representative Chris Stewart is on.
He's talking about who he would like to fill his seat.
With nearly 24 candidates vying for the 2nd congressional seat, things will get interesting fast. We'll be all over every twist and turn, mornings and afternoons this week on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 7:29. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. We go back to Heather Kelly.
We finally heard from a traffic trooper letting us know that there's a disabled vehicle eastbound 201 freeway right at the exit to Bangerter Highway. And UHP is on the scene. They've got flashing lights. That is what is slowing everybody down to the extent that traffic is backed up all the way to 80th West now. So it's going to take a lot of extra time to get to wherever you're going if you're using the 201 freeway coming out of Tooele County or through Magna. Northbound I-15, though, still mostly at speed. We're starting to see a few brake lights as you come over the point of the mountain and head into the Draper area. Len.
Well, on the West Gate to Hillfield Air Force Base, the ramp had been pretty busy as you make your way off of I-15 toward the gate, but it's getting a little bit better now, starting to move pretty well. I-15 still a little bit sluggish as you make your way from the Layton Hills Mall all the way down to the Kaysville Ponds. Otherwise, US 89 and Legacy Parkway looking pretty good. Eric?
Foothill Drive getting a bit slow northbound, heading off of I-80 or the 215 East Belt, right at the exit point, all the way up to about 1300 south. You've got some slowdowns there. Of course, you can't say that people out in that direction aren't used to that. They are. I-15 Utah County, northbound, southbound, that's looking good. For a top quality kitchen or bath with top quality craftsmanship, call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. They're always on time with no delays and meet all deadlines. Visit 3daykitchen.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look now at that weather forecast. Today, we'll get up to 77 degrees on the cool side for us. Lots of sunshine. Back up to the 80s tomorrow, and then all the way to 90 by Monday. Right now, we do have sun and 53 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 7:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
It is the first day of summer, but it doesn't feel much like it this morning.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our summer weather team coverage. Adam?
Amanda, temperatures this year are going to normally in the mid-80s, but today we're going to be about 10 degrees below that. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says this is due to a couple of factors, including the rain we've been seeing lately.
So some of that cold air has lingered, even though the showers are gone. It is lingering for today.
Believe it or not, some areas of the mountains above 9,500 feet have actually been seeing snow, but things are going to bounce back pretty quickly. We'll be back in the mid-80s tomorrow, all the way up to 90 by Monday. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Boaters are celebrating the start of summer, obviously, as Bullfrog Marina opens at Lake Powell after water levels went up to the highest they've been since last June. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston continues our live team coverage. Peter?
Tim, the actual amount of time it's been is about 2 years since it's been this high. The main ramp at Bullfrog Marina needed to gain 60 feet of water just 2 months ago to get to where we are today, and it did that. Because the last time the water levels were this high, like I said, was January of 2021, and it's a far steeper increase this time around than the small bump in water levels that we saw last summer. The ramp wasn't even open 2 Junes ago. It's this big stretch of concrete pavement that just goes straight down to the water. And the only ramps that have been open are these auxiliary ones that let down smaller boats. So this is great news for those with houseboats and bigger boats. The National Park Service says that on the spur ramp, which comes off of the main one, boats can only go up to a length of 25 feet. But that's a pretty good size. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
Fireworks go on sale in Utah in just a few days. You can start stocking up for the July 4th holiday starting this Saturday. The first legal day people in Utah can launch fireworks is 11 a.m. on July 2nd. Fire officials urge us all to use caution to avoid human-caused fires this year.
KSL's top national stories this hour. An Arkansas judge has struck down a ban dealing with medical care for transgender youth.
Supporters of the ban argued it would protect children's bodies and safeguard medical ethics, but transgender youth spoke out.
I was really insecure with myself and not happy before this.
A federal judge yesterday ruled the Arkansas ban violates the due process and equal protection rights of transgender youth and families, and argued it also violates the First Amendment rights of medical providers, saying the evidence showed that the prohibited medical care improves the mental health and well-being of patients, and that by prohibiting it, the state undermined the interests it claims to be advancing.
ABC's Andrea Fujii reporting. Utah and 16 other states have passed laws similar to the one in Arkansas.
We continue to learn more about Hunter Biden's deal to plead guilty to a pair of tax-related misdemeanors and enter into a pretrial diversion agreement that would enable him to avoid prosecution on a felony charge.
Hunter is expected to reach a deal on a felony gun charge. He's accused of lying about his drug use on an application when he bought a firearm in 2018. Experts say it's rare for the Justice Department to bring a weapons charge against a nonviolent offender. The White House saying in a statement that the president and First Lady support him.
I'm very proud of my son.
Prosecutors plan to recommend probation for the tax offenses, which a judge must still approve.
ABC's Em Nguyen reporting.
A plan to create more housing in downtown Salt Lake City is moving forward. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla begins our team coverage. Utah housing.
The western edge of downtown Salt Lake City, also known as the Depot District, is getting quite a bit of redevelopment. Multifamily housing units are being built north of 200 South in an attempt to satisfy the younger generation's desires of living and functioning in a city without a vehicle. The area provides easy access to UTA buses, tracks, and the Front Runner. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Nearly 3,000 eviction cases were filed from January to April this year, which is an uptick from the past few years. KSL News Radio's Kate Davis continues our team coverage.
This isn't unique to Utah. Nationwide, evictions are ticking upward, but Executive Director of the Rental Housing Association of Utah, Paul Smith, says eviction rates aren't much higher than they were before the pandemic.
We're post-COVID now, and numbers are exactly where they were pre-COVID, at 2.1% of Utahns being evicted per year.
The lowest period of evictions in Utah was in April 2020 in the thick of the pandemic, thanks to increased federal support for renters. Kate Davis, KSL News Radio.
First look traffic. Heather Kelly's in the traffic center.
We still have big delays on the 201 freeway eastbound between 8000 West and Magna all the way over to Bangerter Highway. A KSL traffic trooper lets us know there's a disabled vehicle on that exit ramp to Bangerter, and that is what's adding to all these slowdowns. The good news is the rest of your commute around the Wasatch Front is in pretty good shape, just a few brake lights from time to time. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Underwater noises have been detected by Canadian aircraft in the ongoing search for the Titan submersible that went missing Sunday during a dive to the Titanic wreckage. The Coast Guard says their search has still yielded no results. Fran Capo is an adventurist who went on the sub back in 2005.
They may have come up with some strategies of things that they could try, but I think right now they're waiting it out and praying, and we're hoping that we will see them soon.
The vessel is about the size of a minivan and has little room to move or stand upright inside.
New test scores show kids around the country continue to struggle to catch up following the pandemic.
Math and reading scores fell to their lowest levels in decades, with math scores dropping by the largest margin ever recorded. This according to a test called the National Assessment of Educational Progress, also known as the Nation's Report Card. Between 2020 and 2023, average math scores fell by 9 points. The drop in math scores was even greater for some students. They fell 20 points for American Indian students and 13 points for black students. White students saw a 6-point decline, and for Asian students, scores held even. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
Officials in Boston say a 32-year-old woman used a fake ID to attend a public high school. The woman is a social worker, but is no longer working for a state agency as police investigate.
She definitely didn't look 32. I can tell you that. I wouldn't have thought she was 32.
I thought we tried to get out of high school, not get back in. That's a freshman at the school, by the way, who says she was shocked to hear the woman was older than she appeared.
Maybe she went back to improve her biology grade or something.
Maybe.
I've been tempted. A disabled vehicle on 201 highway and the Bangerter Highway exit is causing bigger than usual eastbound delays. We'll check your traffic and weather together coming up next.
Breaking news is just one ask away.
Playing KSL News Radio.
Newly released body cam footage.
If you want to switch parties, you still can. In your home, tell Alexa, play KSL News Radio. Then listen in your car at 102.7 FM.
Can you believe it? Just when you thought the savings at Paris RV can't get any better, right now it's Hot Deals Month at Paris RV, and you can save thousands on the easy-to-tow Forest River Rockwood 1640 LTD for only $12,995 or $146 a month. Need a bunkhouse? Save over $13,000 on the Gulfstream Amerilite Ultralight 248BH for $19,995 or $225 per month. Oh, you want to drive your rig so Mama can make you a sandwich on the way.
You want some cheesy poofs too?
Then climb aboard the Gulfstream Conquest Class C 6237 LE for only $79,995 or $636 a month. You're saving almost $36,000. See Paris RV for details. This R&R lifestyle changing and cash back in your jeans is happening right now at Paris RV with 4 locations. Go to parisrv.com.
The lowest prices of the year are now at Paris RV.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain.
Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep, switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
A sure sign of summer and something we've been lacking for a couple of years. The Bullfrog Marina boat ramp opened, which is just fantastic.
Yeah,
Water
good
levels
news.
are coming up, almost 60 feet now. We'll follow the story with Peter Johnston's help this morning.
7:39, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. And back to you, Heather.
Delays on the 201 freeway eastbound continue to extend. Now they're almost back from 8400 west all the way over to Bangerter Highway. Now, earlier, a KSL traffic trooper let us know there was a disabled vehicle at the exit ramp to Bangerter. We haven't been able to see it or find it, so maybe it's gone. And hopefully that will get speeds to improve through that stretch. Otherwise, you've got a good drive in the Salt Lake Valley. Northbound I-15 is starting to see some slowing from Bluffdale into Draper and again at the South Interchange, but no other accidents reported. Len.
In Davis and Weber counties, coming out of Ogden and Roy is pretty good shape. I-15 southbound, but by the time you get to the Layton Hills Mall, it starts to get sluggish and it gets at its slowest pace through Kaysville up to the ponds. Then it lets up nicely into the downtown ramps. No delays there. Still open on the Legacy Parkway and the north end of the I-215. Those delays have cleared out. US 89 in good shape. Eric?
Seeing some brake lights northbound I-15 Utah County, just going by SR 92. That's Timpanogos Highway. It doesn't take long, though, before you're back to normal pace, rounding point in the mountain going into Salt Lake County. You've got some eastbound slowdowns on 2100 north, now approaching 2300 west. Keep your allergies under control this spring with Rentmeister. Call 801-773-6900 and mention KSL for a free indoor air quality consultation. Visit us at rentmeister.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
It is time for the Pollen Report, brought to you by Rentmeister Total Home Services.
KSL Pollen Report, the weeds and shrubbery are in the moderate, same with the mold. However, the trees in the low and the dust just continues to stay in our atmosphere. That is in the high. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny downtown this hour, 53 degrees.
In fact, we'll pull Matt Johnson into the studio in just a moment to talk more about today being the first day of summer and what the weather looks like. So a detailed forecast with Matt just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Stay with us at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. It's Tim and Amanda here to get your Wednesday started on your all-day companion for news.
Would you be upset if you lost $111,000 in retirement income? Get this, 96% of Americans, 96%, lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a free report, the Social Security Decisions Guide from Boss Retirement Solutions, a 5-time winner of Utah's Best of State Award. If you saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get this free report by calling 801-682-4448. This free report is loaded with critical information that can help you avoid losing $111,000 in Social Security income. So call 801-682-4448. That's 801-682-4448. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
It's time this morning for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News.
Every day you hear it in the business report. The Dow is up 73 points today. Crude oil was down $2 a barrel, right? So how insane would it be if you heard bond yields were up 10 basis points today and bride prices were up $800 today? Yes, I said bride.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life.
You would go crazy if we announced bride prices, but in China, brides carry a price tag in cash. Guys, if you want to get married, you have to pay the bride's family some serious money. It varies from province to province in China, but the going rate ranges from $20,000 to $50,000. By the way, it's a bull market. With China's shrinking population that consists of more men than women, the price of a bride has been going up sharply. And it's one of the main reasons that few people are getting married and having families in China. A bride costs as much as a new car, and there are no factory incentives. That is why the New York Times reports the Chinese government is trying to crack down on bride prices. The country needs more babies, so they need more weddings, and with this bull market in brides standing in the way, they've launched a propaganda campaign against the practice. You might think they'd call the practice barbaric, that it treats women as property, that it's wrong. Nope. China is trying to stop the practice by calling the women greedy for trying to get paid large sums of money. So has it worked? Is everybody saying, oh no, let's go crazy? Guess what? The Tone Deaf campaign hasn't worked. China's marriage rate hasn't even budged. Crazy, isn't it?
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Maria's in for Jeff this afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock to help you get home on KSL News Radio. Our news time now is 7:45. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Salt Lake City is getting more housing in the Depot District. Meanwhile, Utah's eviction rates are up right now, but pretty much on par with pre-pandemic levels. I'm KSL News Radio's Kate Davis.
Second, attention boaters. Bullfrog Marina is opening at Lake Powell as the water levels at the lake continue to rise.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Well, we do have some typical slowdowns on I-15 both directions getting into downtown Salt Lake, but the biggest issue is the 201 freeway eastbound between 8400 West and Magna and Bangerter Highway, where we reportedly had an earlier disabled vehicle on that Bangerter exit ramp. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunny and 77 today, but 80s return tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
53 downtown.
With KSL's top national stories.
The search goes on in the North Atlantic for the submersible that has been missing since Sunday with 5 people on board. A surveillance plane detected a noise last night, but subsequent searches turned up nothing. ABC's Gio Benitez has the latest from Nova Scotia with more on the chances of the sub being found on the top of the water.
Even if that sub did rise to the surface and they're just floating, waiting to be rescued, that sub is actually bolted shut from the outside, so they need to be found because they are running out of oxygen.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell in prepared remarks to be delivered to a congressional committee today, saying that inflation still is too high and the Federal Reserve will likely raise interest rates even further this year to try to tame it. A federal judge striking down Arkansas's first-in-the-nation ban on gender-affirming care, saying it is a violation of the Constitution. Another day of sweltering temperatures in Texas, expected to be 111 degrees in Dallas today, hotter in other parts of the state. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
In the summertime when the weather is high.
I guess we can officially do this now. Today is the first day of summer. We'll see the sun longer today than any other day of the year.
Joining us live in studio is our meteorologist at KSL, Matt Johnson. Explain what the summer solstice is, Matt.
Yeah, so the sun, because of the tilt of the axis of the Earth, in the summertime, or the first day of summer, that is when the tilt is optimized toward the sun. The most northern point that the sun will go in the sky, which is the Tropic of Cancer, which is just south of Florida. So this is the highest the sun will be in the sky is today, but it's a very slow process, right? So as we move into the next coming days after the solstice, it'll slowly get lower and lower and lower in the sky.
So the rotation of the Earth then today gives us the longest day of the year.
Correct. Yep. And so today will be 15 hours and 6 minutes long. The sun sets not till 9:02 p.m. Now, if you count twilight, you'll at least see the mountain silhouettes through the 10 o'clock hour.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. It's
wow.
It's going to be amazing.
For
Love
joggers and dog walkers, that's just awesome. So where do we compare with this? I mean, today, like right now, it's 53 degrees. How does that compare to other summer solstices?
Right. Usually a typical summer solstice will be right around 86 degrees. Last year we were in the 90s, but it was just a couple of days prior to the solstice, we had already hit 101, 102, and 103.
Oh, wow.
And so we can get really hot this time of year, but hey, I don't think anybody's complaining about the 77 today, and it's kind of been the theme so far this spring.
So what's happened to us that has led to this longer, cooler, wetter pattern that we've had so far?
Right, there's been a lot of folks that study the jet stream and climatology are actually kind of rolling their eyes at this too, because it's just a little strange to see the jet stream behave the way that it is But there is speculation out there that the reason why we're getting the cool weather on the west is because this is the initiation of the switch over to El Nino. And sometimes that can kind of mess with the western jet stream, make it do some wonky stuff. You add in climate change, and that kind of exaggerates the process.
It's El Nino's fault. The baby.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, don't go away. We're going to check a 7-day forecast coming up in a moment.
I kind of hope it's the first in the 5-year cycle of more wetter, cooler weather for us out here. We'll hope anyway. It's 7:49. Let's see how the roads are doing this hour. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather Kelly, what's it looking like?
It is looking pretty good overall. We don't have any accidents reported. That's the best way to have a drive. If you're northbound I-15, you will see the slowdowns, though. A little bit of stop and go as you come off the point of the mountain, head toward 90th South and Sandy. And then it's sort of off and on slowdowns as people merge on the freeway the rest of the way into downtown Salt Lake. The 201 freeway remains somewhat at a crawl. Looks like speeds are improving a little bit, but you still have delays between 8400 West and Magna and Bangerter Highway. Len.
Around Hillfield, the south entrance to Hillfield is a little bit busy right in there, and also the west entrance. It's getting better, but a little bit slow there as you make your way on the off-ramp there at Clearfield at the Air Force Base. Southbound I-15 looking pretty good to get to the Layton Hills Mall. Starts to slow down there. It's all the way now in just a little bit slower motion all the way through Kaysville down to just past the ponds, almost to Burton Lane. Otherwise, Highway 89 is in good shape right now, and Legacy Parkway is wide open. Eric?
I-15 Utah County continues to move along at a pretty normal pace. Now, much earlier, we did have a southbound crash holding things up between Orem and Provo, but since that's been cleared, it's been quiet times for Utah County drivers on the freeway, and that's the way they like it. Eastbound from Redwood Road, we got normal slowdowns, though, on Pioneer Crossing and 2100 North over to the freeway. When you choose Performance Automotive and Bountiful, you're choosing selection. 4 locations: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country. See it all at performancebountiful.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Okay, back over to you, Matt.
All right. I hope folks enjoy the first day of summer. 77. It's not many. June 21st. We see the temperature stop in the mid-70s with azure skies out there. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 85. We then pick up a south breeze on Friday, keeping us in the 80s. Partly cloudy. We keep it partly cloudy on Saturday, 82, with that south breeze blowing. We then work into Sunday, 87. And before you know it, we're to 90 degrees on Monday. Tuesday's 87. And looking further into the future, the first week of July does look like it'll be hot. So that might be our first taste of summer is early July.
It's about time. No,
but even with that 90 on Monday, we drop back again on Tuesday. So maybe a little blip here. Mm-hmm. Well, your water bill should be less. Your electric bill should be less.
That for sure.
Yeah, celebrate. Yeah. Get out and enjoy that sunshine today. It really is beautiful. 53 degrees downtown.
I've been thinking lately about my health because I've had a few challenges and how I want to be around. I want to be around when my kids get older. I still pray for a grandbaby someday, and I want to be around. And so I can't control everything, but I can control one big contributor to health issues. I can control my weight. So I lost 34 pounds a year and a half ago on the SOTA weight loss program, and I've kept it off for a year and a half. And I know that it's going to help my health in any number of ways. I have more energy, and I know it will help with, my heart and so many other things. So if you're thinking about what can I do, not only to set a better example for my kids and to feel better, but to really try and contribute to health in the long term, lose some weight with SOTA weight loss.
And of all the things we could tell listeners, it is that one thing that you can keep this weight off. Mm-hmm. You've probably tried before. You've probably tried other plans, and you've done this yo-yo thing and then just given up on it. Their goal is the same as yours at SOTA, and that is to keep this weight off for the rest of your life. My daughter lost 42 pounds and is still doing so well on the program, and it's because she has that accountability that they talk about, a friend in the form of a nutritionist who now in the maintenance phase she checks in with every couple of weeks. And by the way, the maintenance phase, no extra charge for you or anyone in your family that wants to start. Go to SOTAweightloss.com. It's spelled S-O-T-A. Just think Tim and Amanda. SOTA Weight Loss is state-of-the-art.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Are you suffering from excruciating headaches, anxiety, and insomnia? You may be suffering from CMS, crappy monitor syndrome. That old computer screen from years ago could be the problem, exposing you to massive amounts of radiation frying your brain. At PC Laptops, we only carry screens that we've tested on our own eyeballs. Right now, purchase any PC Laptops desktop with an external monitor and get a free size upgrade. That's right. For example, if you buy a 22-inch monitor, you get an upgrade to 24 inches for no extra charge. Buy a 24, get an upgrade to a 27-inch monitor for free. We have brand new PC Laptops desktop computers starting from $11.99 or $29 a month, backed by a lifetime warranty. And to make it extra sweet, we're doing 0 interest for a year on approved credit. So run into any one of our PC Laptops locations right now or check us out at PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com. Because at PC Laptops, we love you.
Watching Utah's Money is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Just time to see how the markets are doing this morning. The Dow is down 128 in the first half hour. That's closing in on 4/10. The S&P down 20 points, and the NASDAQ off this hour by 90.
It's time for the 100-day countdown to Cougar football, brought to you by Bish's RV. Here is BYU insider Mitch Harper.
One of the strengths of BYU's new revamped defense is at linebacker. The Cougars bring back a pair of highly productive tacklers in Max Tooley and Ben Bywater. Both players missed spring practices due to shoulder injuries. The good news is that they are expected to be ready for the start of fall camp. Bywater has racked up 200 tackles the past 2 seasons for BYU and projects to be the starting inside linebacker this season. Along with a pair of returning veterans, BYU also added a vet from in-state rival Utah State in A.J. Vongpachan. Vongpachan had 101 tackles last year for the Aggies. He projects to be a starter as well. The Cougars also brought in Oregon transfer Harrison Taggart, who was a 4-star recruit out of Corner Canyon High, plus a trio of redshirt freshmen in Isaiah Glasker, Ace Kafusi, and Micah Kafusi that will look to contend for playing time this fall. For more on BYU's linebacker unit, check out the KSL Sports app. Countdown to Cougar football, 73 days to go. I'm Mitch Harper, KSL Sports.
When interest rates rise, it's not all bad. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, helping you understand why now is the time to purchase an annuity. Annuities are the only products that will guarantee you an income you can't outlive. It's those guarantees that are tied to Treasury rates. And as we know, those rates are at 40-year highs. If you're in or within 10 years of retirement, use this to your advantage. This is exactly why it's possible to receive up to a 25% upfront bonus for income, and why it is possible to receive up to 10% per year for income growth. It's because of the high interest rates. Don't let anyone tell you it's not true, but also don't wait. Interest rates and these guarantees will eventually come down. Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600. Or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
And the news this hour brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors.
Are you tired of living with the discomfort and pain caused by varicose veins? Look no further. The Interventional Vascular and Vein Center, or IVC, is excited to announce a special event just for you. Join them on Saturday, June 24th from 9 to 1 in Provo. During this exclusive event, they'll be offering varicose vein screenings. Their highly trained specialists will perform a limited ultrasound on your legs to evaluate you for venous disease. This procedure will help them understand your condition better and provide you with the best possible treatment options. So if you suffer from leg aches and pain, heaviness in your legs, leg swelling, restless leg, blood clots, or even pelvic pain, make sure to mark your calendars and join them at IVC. Don't let these symptoms hold you back any longer, because life starts when the pain stops. Don't miss this opportunity to get the care you deserve. Call 801-379-6700 or visit ivein.com to secure a time for your complimentary assessment on June 24th. Spots are limited, so don't wait.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high yield savings certificates. Heather?
On the 201, on the SR 36, coming out of Tooele County, between Canyon Road getting onto I-80. Once you're on I-80, good speeds to the airport. The 201 freeway still a little bit slow around 5600 west, but the delays are quickly clearing out now. And then northbound I-15 slow and go between the Point of the Mountain and downtown Salt Lake. Len.
Getting a little bit busy on West Hill Road as you make your way up toward the south entrance to Hillfield. Otherwise, a little bit of spotty slowing as you make your way from Antelope Drive and then slows at the Layton Hills Mall on through Kaysville to the Ponds, but it's picking up speeds. Otherwise, you're in good shape down to the Rose Park area where it slows down just a bit as you make your way toward downtown. Legacy Parkway and the I-215 North End are in good shape right now. Eric?
It's pretty slow go on Foothill Drive, northbound from Parley's Way all the way up to the Sunnyside intersection. If you're on the 215 eastbound northbound leading up to that, that looks pretty good. Eastbound on I-80 going past the East Canyon exit heading into Lambs Canyon, that's a little bit slow. And I-15 Utah County northbound southbound right now running at a normal pace. Upgrade your countertops with beautiful quartz or granite. With Bedrock Quartz, it's only 7 days from template to installation with showrooms in Layton, West Jordan, St. George, and Pleasant Grove. BedrockQuartz.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
First day of summer, 77 for a high, and it's 54 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen on the KSL News Radio app and in your car at 102.7 FM. KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 8 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
11 Republicans running to replace Congressman Chris Stewart, and they took to the debate stage last night.
KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston joins us live with a recap. Peter?
The Republican candidates for Congressman Stewart's seat tried to set themselves apart through their opening statements last night.
The most important thing to know about me is that I'm a father. I'm a veteran. I'm a first responder. I'm an entrepreneur.
You are squarely in the middle of the area that I represented for 10 years in the Utah House of Representatives.
They also differ when it came to their views on Trump versus DeSantis in 2024 and a recent same-sex marriage act that passed Congress. The second debate's coming to St. George this Thursday to represent the southern half of District 2. Registered Republican voters will be able to submit their primary ballots early September. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
The Davis School District is once again allowing the Bible in its libraries after months of debate. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with that story. Adam?
Tim, the Davis School District Board voted unanimously to overturn a previous decision to ban the Bible in elementary and junior high schools, which cited vulgarity and violence that many found not to be appropriate for young kids. Senator Todd Weiler co-sponsored Utah's sensitive materials law.
I think it's great news. I mean, our law targeted pornographic, X-rated material, and I could never see how the Bible fit into that category.
KSL.com reports lawmakers questioned the decision to remove the Bible since it didn't meet the criteria under that law. Weiler tells Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News they may look into tweaking it after seeing this all play out the way it did. Reporting live in Davis County, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. A growing number of Republican lawmakers say the plea deal given to Hunter Biden was not tough enough. Former Republican Congressman John Katko says he thinks the plea deal is a step in the right direction for the DOJ.
He didn't pay his taxes. He's repaying the taxes, and he's going to plead to 2 misdemeanor counts on that. I don't think it's the worst outcome.
Documents entered in court show the president's son has agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax-related charges and enter a pretrial diversion program to avoid prosecution on a felony gun charge.
Reaction continues to pour in this morning to that Hunter Biden plea deal. KSL News Radio's Hugo Rickard-Bell continues the team coverage.
The deal allows the president's youngest son to receive probation for not filing over $100,000 in taxes and also avoid prosecution on a separate gun charge. But ABC legal analyst Royal Oakes says the judge doesn't have to agree if he feels the penalty is too soft.
If the judge thinks that it's too easy or too hard, the judge could actually stop it. But it's pretty unlikely, as you know. Generally, judges go along with the deals.
Hunter Biden illegally bought a firearm during the period of his life where he was also allegedly addicted to cocaine. Yurikad Bell, KSL News Radio.
America's top diplomat is in London today, meeting with his counterparts from around the world. Secretary Blinken is also announcing an additional $1.3 billion in U.S. aid for Ukraine.
You've had President Zelensky and others come out and say, don't worry, it's all going to plan. Well, the fact that they've come out and said that, I think, starts to raise questions in people's minds about whether it really is going to plan. Now, we know the Ukrainians have only deployed a certain amount of all these extra battalions that they formed over winter, and they've been heavily trained in the United States and across Europe.
ABC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell reporting from Ukraine.
A Canadian aircraft has detected underwater noises in the search for the Titan submersible. The vessel has been missing since Sunday on a dive, of course, to the wreckage of the Titanic. But the Coast Guard says their search has so far gotten nowhere. ABC's Lionel Moise is gathering more information.
As of Tuesday night, crews had covered 7,600 square miles. There's still a chance the sub is able to float to the surface on its own, but the crew would still be trapped. Rescuers would have to first locate the vessel and physically remove the crew before oxygen runs out.
Yeah, officials say the vessel has enough oxygen to last until early tomorrow morning.
First look traffic now, and here's Heather Kelly. And here's no Heather Kelly.
We'll check in with Heather in a minute. Let's check the weather in the meantime with Matt Johnson. The official start of summer gets off with a rather cold start.
Average high this time of year for the first day of summer is typically right around 86 degrees with a low of 61. We're running a solid 10 plus degrees cooler than that. Only forecasting a high of 77 today. It will likely top out in the 50s and 60s in the mountains.
Matt says the cold is partly caused by a pocket of cold air dropping in from Canada, but things will be heating up later this week.
Let's go back for that first look at traffic with Heather Kelly.
We are looking pretty good on the northbound I-15. Just some slowing from Murray into South Salt Lake, but the delays on the 201 freeway are quickly easing. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Speed bumps will soon start going up along 1300 South in Salt Lake City, but not everyone is happy about it.
Neighbors like Clayton Morgan tell KSL 5 they are ready for the city to act quickly to get speed bumps and at least one raised sidewalk up on their street to slow down speeding traffic.
Some cars will come screaming through here, and it gets pretty dangerous.
Others say they weren't consulted and feel left out of the process. Transportation spokesman John Larson says they did send out postcards and had multiple meetings with public input. The city says they did push it forward after a sixth grader from Bonneville Elementary was hit and killed on 2100 East last November. Work is set to begin late this summer. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
The expected number one pick in the NBA draft, 19-year-old Victor Wembanyama, has arrived in the U.S. from France. Many league analysts are calling him the best player to enter the league since LeBron James. Wembanyama sat down with Good Morning America's Robert Roberts to talk about the high expectations for his future.
How do you deal with the pressure that goes along with the anticipation?
I have such high expectations from myself, and I'm so determined that the expectations of others are nothing compared to what I expect of myself. Nothing can disturb me from it, so it's not that hard to deal with it.
How tall is he, Tim?
7'5".
7'5". Wembanyama also threw out the first pitch at a Yankees game last night. He definitely needs some work on his pitching, but that's not his sport. The draft is tomorrow night, by the way. The Utah Jazz have the 9th, 16th, and 28th picks.
He has such range for a 7'5" guy. Usually you don't worry about, guys that big, 6 feet, 8 feet from the basket, but he's knocking down threes. There's just some question about his durability, which the Spurs are willing to roll the dice on, I'm sure. Southbound slowing on I-15 from Hillfield Road in Layton all the way down to the Kaysville exit. We'll see what the cause of that is and check your traffic and weather together next.
Start your day with all news in the morning. Then hear David Dujanovic talk about the biggest stories from 9 to noon.
His defense attorney for this case has a heavy lift.
Yeah, the retainer is not enough for that guy. Breaking news, important talk, all morning on KSL News Radio.
Can we talk about something difficult to discuss? Are you going through a difficult financial time? You have equity in your home, but nobody can help. I'm Jason Erskine with American Home Loans, and we have created the Bridge Loan Program to use your equity regardless of your credit at this time. The Bridge Loan can be used to pay debts, collections, IRS liens, divorce settlement, or just simply improve your property. Give us a call at 801-262-2221. This loan creates a bridge between now and a much brighter future. During COVID, one of our clients had over $85,000 on credit cards. Their scores were too low to borrow on their home. We were able to save them $2,000 a month, and after 8 months, they qualified for a conventional loan and improved their situation. Look, the consultation is free. Please let us see what we can do for you. Call 801-262-2221. That's 801-262-2221, or go to AmericanHomeLoans.com. That's AmericanHomeLoans.com.
NMLS 245422, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired,
It's time to change the game. It's all about changing the conversation. I did that 18 months ago with SOTA Weight Loss. SOTA stands for state-of-the-art weight loss because it is state-of-the-art. I lost 37 pounds in less than 90 days, and here I am a year and a half later. I feel better, I sleep better, I perform better, and all through a very simple process. The pounds and inches roll away, and most important, you get to that strong space where you feel like yourself again or like you've got that energy. And I'm not the only one. There are countless people across the country, and right here in the state of Utah, I love to hear from people who will send me a text or pull me aside at an event and say, Boyd, I did it. I did it, and it worked, and it can work for you. So as I always say, when it comes to your SOTA weight loss journey, there's no time to lose. There's only time to win. So start winning. Check it out at sotaweightloss.com, SOTAweightloss.com.
One of the stories we're following this morning, of course, is the first of 2 debates for candidates to replace Congressman Chris Stewart. We'll have more on that for you coming up this morning. KSL News Time 8:09. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s is brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather Kelly, what's it looking like?
It's looking pretty good throughout the Salt Lake Valley. We don't have any accidents reported, but you still have a lot of traffic on northbound I-15, so you have off and on delays. They start just after you come off the point of the mountain from Utah County through the Bluffdale-Draper area. Then you have more slowdowns between Midvale and South Salt Lake. All the delays we had on the 201 freeway, they're gone. Everybody's now traveling at speed as you come out of Tooele County. But on SR 36, you're still very congested between Canyon Road and I-80. Len.
In Weaver County, looking pretty good up by Willard Bay, coming southbound all the way past Ogden, Riverdale, and past the Air Force Base. And then at the Layton Hills Mall or Hillfield Road, it starts to slow down a bit and get even more sluggish through Layton on down to Kaysville before it gets to the ponds and picks up a little bit till you get just before Amusement Park Lagoon. It's going to slow just a little bit, and then you're in good shape down to the downtown area. Legacy Parkway is clean right now. Eric?
Northbound Foothill Drive, just some splotches of slowing from about 2100 north to 2100 south, to 1700 south, and then approaching the Sunnyside intersection. Those are the 2 biggest slowest spots. I-80 through the mountains looks pretty good. Just some usual eastbound slowing between Kimball Junction and the turnoff to go south on US 40. That's at Silver Creek. I-15 Utah County northbound southbound is still looking pretty good. Jump in the car and head to Logan for free concerts, hilarious live theater performances, farmers markets, outdoor living history, hiking, biking, and dining. Less than a gas tank away. ExploreLogan.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
With drier air moving into the state, we'll go for sunny skies today, high of 77, spectacular. Overnight low in the mid-50s, clear skies. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high of 85. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Finally starting to warm up out there. It's 54 degrees.
Coming up in just a moment, Ozempic is suing, I think, more than one company for what they're claiming is copycat drugs. We'll have more on that just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Stay right there. That information's coming your way next at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. Thanks for riding along this morning. Beautiful day. Tim and Amanda on KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
The last time I had Superior Water and Air out to the house, well, actually, I had them out twice in a row. The first time was an emergency. And isn't it, I mean, sometimes when you're a homeowner, stuff happens.
Yeah, and that's, at some point in your life, it's going to come.
It's going to happen, and it's never convenient. But we had our water heater go out, and they were Johnny on the spot. I mean, they were there like that. Like I see their billboards that say, "We got this." That's how they respond. Mm-hmm. We got this, man. Don't worry about it. They came out and figured it out. There was an electrical thing and just fixed it. And then the other one was one we had planned because we wanted to install some new faucets. And the plumbers at Superior Water and Air are just some of the most talented people I've ever met.
Not just talented, but they love their work.
They do love their work.
Which makes a big difference, you know, to have the spirit in your home. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. I guess a lot of times for people it's uncomfortable to have strangers in your home. But in an emergency, you're more than happy to welcome them in. And I actually shadow them sometimes just to see what they're doing so that I can learn a little bit about what to watch for the next time. I think they told us that they replace more water heaters in the state of Utah than any other company out there. And so in the case of an emergency, or if you've got something as simple, and I think you were talking about this, just replacing a faucet.
Yeah, sure.
They're happy to come take care of that for you as well. But it's a good source to have handy, good phone number to have on the fridge.
It's 974-9090 or go online to superiorwaterandair.com.
Here's a question. Do you wear dentures? At Grandpa's Dental, you can trade in your floppy dentures and get $2,000 towards an implant-supported solution. You know, they say the older you get, the more you need your teeth. Well, chewing your food isn't a luxury. And taking a bite out of a nice, juicy steak, well, it takes teeth. At Grandpa's Dental, they have over 10,000 restorations under their belt, and it's always affordable. When you walk into one of their 3 locations, you're family, period. At Grandpa's Dental, they live their family legacy by building lasting relationships through state-of-the-art services. So if you want to stop the flop and actually eat foods you can chew, trade in your dentures at Grandpa's Dental for $2,000 toward your implant solution. Schedule your free consultation at grandpasdental.com today. That's grandpasdental.com.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors to tell you about our 10-year everything guarantee. Most contractors spout off having great warranties that last forever. But those warranties are always, and I do mean always, riddled with loopholes, exception, fine print, and nonsense. At RGS Exteriors, we cover everything. Parts, labor, material, everything and anything for 10 full years. There's no cost to you whatsoever. No hoops to jump through, no exceptions. Yes, the products we sell, like James Hardy Siding, our windows, gutter covers, come with a 25 to 50-year manufacturer's warranty, just like everybody else. But the truth is, the products almost never fail. It's always the labor and material which is never covered, so you're stuck paying for service calls. For peace of mind, call RGS Exteriors. You'll sleep easy for 10 full years. 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or online rgsutah.com. Gutters, siding, windows, and all exteriors with the 10-year everything guarantee.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 8:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
in the first debate of the special election cycle, Republican candidates made a case last night for why they should be the GOP nominee to replace Congressman Chris Stewart. I'm KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston.
Second, the Davis School District is returning the Bible to school library shelves after a unanimous vote by the district board.
Third, let's get another look at traffic and weather together.
Speeds are improving on the I-15 corridor, but you still have plenty of slow traffic northbound moving from Draper into Murray and southbound from Layton into Kaysville. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
70s today with 80s returning by tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, sunshine at 54 degrees.
With KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Still no sign of the missing vessel last heard from on Sunday after taking off in the Atlantic Ocean in search of the wreckage of the Titanic. There is enough oxygen to last until tomorrow morning, and there have been some signs of hope, says ABC transportation correspondent Gio Benitez.
Word that a Canadian aircraft detected underwater noises in the search area for that missing sub with 5 people on board, according to the U.S. Coast Guard. But subsequent searches coming up empty as the clock winds down. The U.S., Canada, and France teaming up to search for any sign of the submersible.
On board, a Titanic researcher, a British billionaire adventurer, a Pakistani businessman and his teenage son, and the CEO of OceanGate, the company that owns and operates the vessel. The offices of the Paris 2023 Olympics raided this week, part of a corruption investigation, says ABC's Tom Sophie Burridge in Paris.
Investigators considering possible misuse of public funds, conflicts of interest and favoritism in awarding of contracts. France's anti-corruption agency involved. Paris 2024 saying it's actively cooperating with investigators, adding it has adopted, quote, stringent procedures to ensure the transparency and propriety of several hundred contracts awarded.
Another blisteringly hot day across much of Texas. It could hit 111 degrees in Dallas today. Tropical storm Brett is growing stronger as it plows through the eastern Caribbean. Those on Barbados and St. Lucia are bracing for torrential rainfall, landslides, and flooding. In Norwalk, Ohio, east of Cleveland, a 2-year-old accidentally shot and killed his pregnant mother. Police call it a terrible accident. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Ozempic and similar drugs designed to help diabetes patients have been flying off the shelf because they can also help people lose weight.
And now the company that makes Ozempic has filed lawsuits over copycat drugs. ABC's Becky Worley.
They're the drugs millions of people are taking. People like Tina Shaw.
I have literally lost and gained a ton of weight over the years.
She says she first heard about Wegovy at a wellness spa. But this morning, Novo Nordisk, the maker of the drugs Ozempic and Wegovy, filing lawsuits in 4 states against wellness spas and clinics who Novo Nordisk say are using false advertising, infringing on their trademark, and unlawfully selling non-FDA approved compounded products that claim to contain semaglutide. The company saying Novo Nordisk cannot validate the safety or effectiveness of products claiming to contain semaglutide that are not one of our own branded products. And overnight, Novo Nordisk telling ABC News, we're preparing to file in the coming days legal actions against compounding pharmacies that are engaging in the unlawful sales of compounded products claiming to contain semaglutide. At the heart of the issue, pharmacies and clinics that instead of buying from Novo Nordisk, compile these drugs from individual ingredients, a practice called compounding, and then allegedly claiming the medications have semaglutide as an active ingredient.
So if a patient elects to use a compounded form of the medication, we cannot guarantee what's actually in that drug.
The FDA says while these drugs were eligible for compounding because of initial shortages, they recently stated compounded drugs pose a higher risk to patients than FDA-approved drugs because compounded drugs do not undergo FDA pre-market review for safety, effectiveness, or quality. But the other issue, price. For Tina Shaw, whose insurance doesn't cover the more than $16,000 annual out-of-pocket cost for Wegovy, her only option was to use a compounding pharmacy which sells the drug for just $300 a month.
I've talked to doctors about this who say that they wish that insurance companies would cover weight loss as a health issue because it is.
Yeah, it causes so many other problems in your life.
Anyway, that's the In-Depth at 15 and 45. 8:19 now. Let's get a look at traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather?
You're still going to see a few brake lights if anybody's northbound I-15 coming out of Utah County over the point of the mountain. Most of those slowdowns right now are between 7200 South in Midvale and 53rd South in Murray. But we do have slowing as you try to connect onto eastbound I-80 at the Spaghetti Bowl there in South Salt Lake. Other than that, it's a really nice drive now through the Salt Lake Valley. No delays on the West Side Belt, Bangerter Highway, or Mountain View Corridor. Len.
On your way into the shiny day, I-15 in Utah and Davis County, Weber County, looking pretty good still, but you're at the West Hill Field Road where I-15 starts to slow down all the way through the Kaysville Ponds. Kind of in that morning mode it gets. Then after that, you're in good shape. Smidgen of slowing to about 2300 West Warm Springs Road, making your way to downtown. At Legacy Parkway and US 89 in good shape right now. Eric?
Southbound slowing on Highway 6 and Spanish Fork approaching the Center Street intersection, a little bit on the northbound side too. But if you're northbound and you head your way over to I-15, everything looks good. Once you get on the freeway in Utah County from Spanish Fork to Point of the Mountain, that's a 24-minute drive time. Wake up with a sore back? Upgrade your mattress today at Durden's new sleep center. Durden's mattresses on 5th South and Bountiful. Durden's, brands you know at prices you'll love. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. You couldn't have planned it better today. 77 and sunny skies for your June 21st summer solstice. 85 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. Goes breezy on Friday, 83 and partly cloudy. Mostly sunny, breezy, 82 on Saturday. We'll then go 87 on Sunday, sunny skies. We keep it sunny on your Monday, but 90, backing it off to 87 on Tuesday, mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Finally starting to warm up a little out there, 55 degrees, and your 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We got the nicest text this morning, Tim. I just love it when we get a text like this. I mean, you can text us anything, and if you have something you want to correct us on, we welcome that too. But we got a text an hour or so ago that just said, Amanda and Tim, you make my day. You know what? That made my day.
Yeah, that's what I text back. I said, just hearing that makes our day.
Makes our day, so thank you for that. Text us anytime on the Cypress Credit Union KSL text line. That's 57500.
Hey, this hour of Utah's Morning News is brought to you by our friends at ARUP Blood Services, and Michael Findlay is a donor recruiter for ARUP. Not a coincidence this morning, I guess, Michael, that we're talking to you on this first day of summer. Tell everybody why it's so important in summer to get blood donations.
You know, right now the weather is warm. The school's out. More people are out on the roads traveling, which means more car accidents. You know, there's more people out recreating, some recreating a little too much, where they end up in the hospital. And at the same time, our donors are busy taking vacations and doing other fun stuff, so our donations go down.
Your donations go down right when the need at the hospital goes up.
Right. It's kind of funny how that works out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We always talk about how easy it is. We haven't been out to ARUP in a while, but we love coming out and doing broadcasts from time to time. It's just such an easy process. Doesn't take as much time, I think, as most people would think.
Oh, no, it's actually really, really quick. About a half an hour in and out the door. We have 2 donor centers open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. We do have preferred appointments, but walk-ins are welcome. In fact, we're the only donor center in Utah that accepts walk-ins. So,
you know, our listeners are so wonderful. When we ask them to help, they do. And so let's just ask them, would you please donate blood today at ARUP? Where are your centers? I think most people know, but just in case.
We have 2 donor centers, like I said, open 7 days a week. One is up in the Research Park, up close to the U of U. The other one is in Sandy, just west of I-15, about 9800 south.
You usually have a little carrot for people to come in and make a donation, too. You have any of that going on right now?
You know, today being the longest day of the year, we're actually giving away beach towels.
Oh, that's
as well
awesome.
as a Cold Stone gift card.
I love that. Ice cream on the first day of summer. All right, make time to go. If you have, a half hour sometime today, just stop by, or even better, call and make an appointment or go online and make an appointment.
Yeah, and as Michael just said, they're open 7 days a week. 801-584-5272 is the number, or just go to utahblood.org.
Get the Intermountain West Contractor's Advantage. Quality, speed, value for your money, and $1,000 off a roof replacement. Visit IWCroofing.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs that will significantly reduce the amount you owe if you qualify. Accredited Debt Relief has helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. For this free information, call 800-786-3400. That's 800-786-3400.
KSL News Time is 8:25. Let's get a look now at Utah's Money. Brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The owner of a car repair shop who paid a former employee with almost 100,000 oily pennies has been ordered by a judge to pay nearly 4 million more cents. That's what you get for being mean-spirited.
Delivering pennies wasn't bad enough. He had to make them oily.
The worker says owner Miles Walker dumped the amount of his final paycheck on his driveway, along with a pay stub that was signed with an expletive. A federal judge ruled Walker owes almost $40,000 to 9 workers for unpaid overtime and damages.
I wonder if he's doing all the repairs in his shop alone these days, because
Yeah.
nobody will work for him. Domino's launching something called Anywhere Delivery, and this is great for the first day of summer. They actually let customers get their food without an address. The app tracks a GPS dot from wherever you're calling in to make that, that delivery order. The pizza chain says their pinpoint delivery service is great for summertime when people are eating at outdoor places like beaches and parks.
A British home building company is forecasting a 20% drop in home sales over the next year thanks to rising interest rates. The company's CEO says confidence probably won't come back to the housing market until interest rates settle down.
Markets have just been unable actually to get out of the red this morning. We're down 94 points on the Dow. That's about 0.3. S&P down 0.5% or 20 points, and the Nasdaq off almost closing in on a full percentage point now. It's down 125.
I think we're getting some relief up north. Southbound delays seem to be breaking up between Layton and Kaysville on I-15. We'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead on KSL.
Hi, Doug Wright, along with my friend Steve Sales. Together we do the movie show, and last year we discovered NPS, and I continue to discover their great values, great deals every single month or week. These guys are great.
I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that I didn't know about it either, and now I can't stop going there. I go to look in the industrial section. I find stuff all the time that I'm not even sure I was looking for to begin with.
I know.
There's such great deals. I just buy them up.
And when you see them, that is the time to buy them.
Yes.
Because the inventory is always changing. The great deals they get can be pretty random sometimes. So when you see something you want to buy it and stock up, because the price is 30 to 70% off any given day of the week. But when I talk about a special, for example, 50% off certain fashion jewelries, that's on top of the already low price. They have a location in Orem, in Layton, 2 locations in Salt Lake City.
Ready, set, go. The race to replace Representative Chris Stewart is on.
He's talking about who he would like to fill his seat.
With nearly 24 candidates vying for the 2nd congressional seat, things will get interesting fast. We'll be all over every twist and turn, mornings and afternoons this week on KSL News Radio.
8:29 means traffic and weather together. We do it every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Heather Kelly's back in the traffic center.
Well, our slowest traffic right now is actually out in Tooele County. SR 36 has got some pretty significant delays as you come up from Canyon Road, try to get onto I-80. We don't have any accidents there. There may be construction, but the delays have been going on for a little while. The 201 freeway is at speed, though. You don't have any problems on Bangerter Highway and Mountain View Corridor. Northbound I-15 still under the speed limit between Midvale and Murray. Len.
Into Davis and Weber counties, looking pretty good in the Ogden area. If you're coming in from Willard Bay, you're in good shape. Or as far as that goes, you can be coming all the way from the Bear River Migratory Refuge, and you're in good shape all the way till Layton, where it is breaking up. Looks like traffic flow is getting better between Layton and Kaysville Pond. Still a little bit under speeds. Otherwise, you're in good shape into the Salt Lake Valley and the Legacy Parkway and the 215 North End in good shape. Eric?
We got some slowdowns on US 40 in the Wasatch back in the Park City area, southbound, heading away from SR 248 and going down towards Jordan-L Reservoir, and then northbound slowing and approaching the construction area near I-80. And on I-80 itself, eastbound, you've got some brake tapping going on between Kimball Junction and Silver Creek. I-15 Utah County, that's looking pretty good so far this morning. Is the IRS harassing you? Are tax problems ruining your life? Let Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox help. Visit TaxHelpUT.com. That's TaxHelpUT.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look at that forecast for today. We're on the cool side, a high of just 77 degrees. Lots of sunshine today. A few clouds move in tomorrow, but it warms up. We'll get to 85 for a high tomorrow. We stay in the 80s for the rest of the 7-day forecast with one exception, and that's Monday. Monday may hit 90 degrees with lots of sunshine. No showers in the forecast for the next 7 days. Right now, we do have sunny skies and 54 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time now is 8:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Today, the first day of summer, and it's going to be unseasonably cold.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our team coverage, Utah summer.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says we're normally in the mid-80s during the summer solstice, but not this time.
We're running a solid 10-plus degrees cooler than that. Only forecasting a high of 77 today. It will likely top out in the 50s and 60s in the mountains.
Matt says this is due to cold air lingering from the north, which brought some valley rain, even some very high elevation snow. But the good news is this is going to be short-lived with highs back to the norm tomorrow. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Here's another sure sign of summer. Bullfrog Marina at Lake Powell is back in business for the first time in 2 years. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston continues our team coverage of the Utah summer.
Hook up your boat trailer and get ready to head south because Bullfrog Marina's ramps are open again. This is big news for people with bigger boats, since the main launch ramp and the spur ramp coming off of it have stayed closed for at least a year. This marks the first time in months boats up to 25 feet long can enter the water. To get some context of how much needed to change to get to this point, water levels shot up 60 feet since April. The National Park Service wants boaters to keep an eye out for hazards as they re-enter the lake, like big branches from submerged trees and invasive quagga mussels that clog boat engines. Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
We've been keeping tabs on 3 brush fires in or near Utah that started in the less than 24 hours apart. 1 threatened homes, 2 others burned dangerously close to roads. KSL TV's Kara Bracken says the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands has an interactive map to show fire risk in certain areas.
Neighborhoods sitting higher, including one we're hearing from of Mill Creek. They're keeping an eye on the hillsides, which state maps are showing to be at far higher risk than most places in the Salt Lake Valley. So right now we're hearing from firefighters too. They're saying right now be very careful about where you're parking, make sure your chains aren't dragging, especially those ATVs.
Experts say hillsides can look green but may still be at high risk for catching fire.
KSL's top national stories this hour. Advocates for transgender youth are celebrating after an Arkansas judge struck down the country's first ban on gender-related medical care for children. The judge calls the ban unconstitutional. Parent Lacey Jenin challenged that ban in court.
I hope other states that try to pass bans like this recognize that and maybe take a step back.
17 other states, including Utah, have similar laws, which are also facing potential court challenges.
We continue to get updates on Hunter Biden's deal to plead guilty to a pair of tax-related misdemeanors and enter into a pretrial diversion agreement that would enable him to avoid prosecution on a felony charge.
Hunter is expected to reach a deal on a felony gun charge. He's accused of lying about his drug use on an application when he bought a firearm in 2018. Experts say it's rare for the Justice Department to bring a weapons charge against a nonviolent offender. The White House saying in a statement that the president and first lady love their son and support him.
ABC's Em Nguyen reporting.
Oxygen quickly running out inside that Titan submersible that went missing over the weekend during its dive to the Titanic wreckage. A Canadian aircraft reported hearing underwater noises, but the Coast Guard says they have found nothing in the search. Fran Capo is an adventurist who went on the sub back in 2005.
There's a bunch of survivor adventure people down there and need to go into survival mode, which means they're keeping the lights out. They're probably not talking.
Coast Guard estimates show that oxygen could run out early tomorrow morning.
First look traffic now, and we go back over to you, Heather.
Well, it turns out we've got a crash on the on-ramp from SR 36 to get onto I-80. That's what was causing all the delays, backed up almost to Canyon Road. It looks like speeds are starting to improve a little bit in that area, so hopefully the crash has been moved out of the way. But you are going to have to allow a couple extra minutes to get onto I-80 if you're in Tooele County. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Plans are underway to bring more housing to downtown Salt Lake City. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla continues our team coverage of Utah housing.
If you've been driving west of downtown Salt Lake City, you may see quite a bit of construction north of 200 South. It's all part of a master plan to revive the Depot District. Multifamily developments and easy access to public transportation are bringing people back to the area. The location provides quick and easy access to UTA buses, tracks, and the Front Runner.
KSL News Radio's Kate Davis continues our team coverage, Utah housing, saying eviction rates went up during the first few months of the year, but there's more to the story.
Researchers say a big cause for this is pandemic relief running out, but Executive Director of the Rental Housing Association of Utah, Paul Smith, says evictions have been trending down for the last 15 years.
So we were well above 3% of tenants were evicted annually 15 years ago. And in 2019, the last pre-COVID year, we were at about 2.1%.
Smith says Utah's fair but firm laws are helping evictions go down over the long term. Utah is the 9th lowest state in the country for eviction rates. Kate Davis, KSL News Radio.
An imposter student controversy in Boston this morning. Officials say a 32-year-old woman used falsified identification to attend a public high school, even though she was actually a social worker. A freshman at the school was shocked to hear the woman was older than she appeared.
She sounded like a teenager, I can't believe this right now.
The woman is no longer working for a state agency as police investigate.
Well, the NBA draft takes place tomorrow night.
19-year-old Victor Wembanyama arriving in the U.S. from France ahead of tomorrow's NBA draft, where he's expected to be the #1 overall pick. Many calling him the best player to enter the league since LeBron. King James himself weighing in.
For sure, a generational talent.
To say he's tall would be an understatement. He stands at 7'5" with a wingspan larger than that of a bald eagle. And experts say he's just as skillful as he is sizable.
ABC's Andrew Dimber reporting. The Utah Jazz, by the way, have the 9th, 16th, and 28th picks.
Now think about this. A year ago, they had none.
Zippity-doo-dah.
No first-round picks. So just a little bit more interest, I think, and attention being paid to it by Utah fans. New crash just reported. SR 36 approaching I-80 and Lake Point. We'll see what kind of a problem that might be causing with traffic and weather together coming up next.
Boyd Matheson helps you to think about the news differently.
Hunker down in our own little social media bubbles. We can never have a more important conversation.
Join an elevated conversation. Inside Sources from 1 to 3. Then Jeff Kaplan and his Minute of News on the drive home on KSL News Radio.
And now here's Growing Your Wealth, presented by Madrona Financial Services. Here's Brian Evans.
A lot of baby boomers own a business and are getting to a point in their life where they want to sell and have a succession plan. There's a couple of options available to you. You can sell to your family, your kids, internally, we would call that. You can sell it internally to employees, key employees, or you can sell it externally to an outside entity. Now there's positives and negatives to both of those. If you sell to your employees, often they don't have a down payment. If you sell to your family, same thing. They may not be able to cash you out, so you'll have to carry the contract on that. So you're taking some risk from that. You would charge interest and so forth, but if they stop paying, they stop paying, or if they don't run the business well, then that could be a problem too. So you're putting some faith into them paying you back. If you sell externally, often the buyer will make you stick around for a while to transition the business. That may or may not be a good thing for you, but you're more likely to get more cash up front. Now, I've seen them work both ways successfully. I know in my own business, I bought it as somebody who was a key employee. I bought half of it. I didn't know how to run a business, but over the years, I figured that out. And about 9 years later, I bought the other half, and now it's very successful. I've also seen businesses where they don't really have a key employee that can run a business the way they did, or even close to it, and they don't really see that happening. So in that case, very often like veterinary offices or something like that, in that case, it's probably best to sell to an outside buyer and get paid your money up front. So when it comes to selling a business, you can do an internal sale or an external sale.
Even the mightiest of trees can be blown over if they don't have strong enough roots. The same is true with your investment plan. Can your plan withstand a financial storm? Go to MadronaFinancial.com and click on the Get Started button to request your rooted wealth analysis. You can also click on the chat button and ask us anything. We have a searchable library with answers to your questions. Visit MadronaFinancial.com.
We continue to monitor the story that's really captured the attention of the world with that Titan submersible that was on its way to take a look at the Titanic wreckage. One of the networks actually has a countdown clock right now on the oxygen remaining, and it's clicking at 19 hours, 20 minutes, and 25 seconds. It's a story, obviously, that's going to continue to garner a lot of attention, and we'll follow ABC News for any new information that may come along. It's 8:39, time for a look at traffic and weather together, which we do every 10 minutes on the 9. It's brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, it looks like the earlier accident we had, SR 36, getting onto I-80, has at least been moved out of the way. Traffic is moving much better now between Saddleback Boulevard up to the I-80 merge at Lake Point. Once you get onto I-80, no delays over to the airport. The 201 freeway is moving at freeway speeds now finally. But we do have delays northbound I-15 as you leave the 3300 South area, head into downtown Salt Lake. We may have an accident in that area. We're going to try to locate it on cameras. Len.
Looking at the Ogden area, you're in pretty good shape, Riverdale, and it looks like the surface streets are doing pretty well. I-84 is looking good over to Mountain Green, and US 89 in good shape as you make your way from South Weaver to Fruit Heights and on to Farmington. In I-15 southbound, looking good past Ogden and Hillfield down to Layton, where it's still a little bit slow. Making your way through Kaysville to Kaysville Ponds, it kind of picks up and then slows down a bit. Otherwise, looking pretty good on your voyage into the Salt Lake Valley. A little bit of slowing right there at Rose Park at 2300 West Warm Springs Road. Eric?
The 215 eastbound looking solid. If you exit onto Foothill Drive, expect some slowdowns from that exit point all the way up to about 1700 south, then it improves. We got northbound and southbound slowing in the Wasatch back on US 40, in both cases approaching Jordanelle Reservoir. I-15 Utah County, that's looking good in both directions. Two Brothers Mattress, your locally owned Serta mattress dealer. Visit any Two Brothers Mattress location from Salt Lake to Orem. Find sale prices now at twobrothersmattress.com. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
More bonus June weather today, high of 77 with sunny skies. We'll go clear skies overnight, little on the chilly side, 55 the low. For tomorrow, 85, partly cloudy, then we go breezy on Friday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny this hour and 55 degrees downtown.
Coming up in a moment, we're hearing from Canadian officials. They're reporting that they have a vessel that heard banging coming from where that submersible disappeared.
Oh, that makes me just uncomfortable.
It does indeed, especially with their oxygen running out. We'll get the very latest on that report just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Stay with us. That's next at 102.7 FM and 1160 AM. Thanks for riding along with Tim and Amanda, your all-day companion for news. This hour of Utah's Morning News brought to you by ARUP Blood Services, and Michael Findlay is back. Michael, a donor recruiter manager We were just talking, Michael, about the importance of summertime, and there's a reason we call them, what is it, the 100 most deadly days on the road.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's a big need this time of year.
You know, there really is. Right now, our hospitals are very busy. I mean, you reported on it all the time. But over the last several weeks, they've been using more blood than we've been able to get in from our donors. We've had to purchase blood from out of state and ship it in, but that's still not enough to keep up with the demand at our local hospitals.
So when I donate blood or platelets, I like to donate platelets. When I do that at ARUP, where does it go?
You know, ARUP Blood Services is the sole provider of blood for University Hospital and clinics, as well as the Huntsman Cancer Hospital. All the blood donated with us goes to one of those two hospitals.
I'll tell you something else that a lot of people don't think about, and we haven't focused on. It's more than just accidents. We had a family member who went through cancer, took a whole year, and those blood transfusions have to happen on a regular basis. That's one of the big needs that is always ongoing.
They do. And actually, Huntsman is actually expanding and adding over 100 beds this year. So that need is just really, really there.
I like to donate platelets because it's 2 hours when my kids can't reach me.
Right? And you get snacks.
Yeah, I get snacks, and you've got
and you
good
can
movies.
watch your Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, totally.
How do people do it? I guess can they call to make an appointment, or do you prefer walk-ins? What's the best way?
Yeah, to donate blood, walk-ins are always welcome. We do prefer appointments. For platelets, we're going to need to set up an appointment to schedule those beds. But the easiest way to do that is to give us a call. The number is 801-584-5272. And we have a whole team of recruiters that are able to set up appointments for you. You can also go find out more information at utahblood.org as well.
utahblood.org. Make time today to donate blood and save a life.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 8:45. The three things you need to know this hour, and maybe I'll be able to do that, maybe I won't here. There we go. First,
Salt Lake City is getting more housing in the Depot District. Meanwhile, Utah's eviction rates are up right now, but pretty much on par with pre-pandemic levels. I'm KSL News Radio's Kate Davis.
Second, today is the first official day of summer, with the summer solstice taking place in just a little more than 10 minutes at 8:57 this morning.
third, it's traffic and weather together.
We've got a new crash northbound I-15 in Linden. All the vehicles are over on the right shoulder, but it is slowing people down as they go past. We also have a crash northbound I-15 near downtown Salt Lake, blocking a right lane and shoulder. That's also causing delays back to 2100 South. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's a perfect first day of summer, 77 with sunny skies. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 54 degrees.
With KSL's top national stories.
A brief noise, then nothing. A Canadian surveillance plane detecting noises from underwater where the Ocean Gate submersible went down. Further Coast Guard searches, however, turned up nothing. Chris Brown is an adventurer who was supposed to be on this mission but pulled out before it began. He was asked on Good Morning America why he didn't go.
I'm not really sure that this is the time to be going into that sort of thing. I think that the focus right now has to be on trying to rescue these people. It's not fair on the families and friends to be making speculation about what might have happened or how it happened at this point.
There's enough oxygen to last until tomorrow morning. Another day of record temperatures in the state of Texas. The heat index in much of the state could hit 120 degrees today. More than 200 cooling centers have been set up in Texas, and people are being warned not to leave kids or pets in cars even for a few minutes. European Union countries agreeing on a new package of sanctions against Russia for the war in Ukraine. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Let's talk more about this situation with this sub. A Canadian official has reported the sound of banging coming near the site of the sub vessel disappeared near the wreck of the Titanic. That vessel has been missing since Sunday.
Bill Diamond is the president of the SETI Institute and has a friend on board the vessel.
And I was, I guess, elated on the one hand. On the other hand, certainly aware that if they are alive and okay, the fear and desperation must be just something unimaginable. But it's certainly very hopeful news, and we continue to hope for an amazing outcome here.
Bill, have you been in touch with the family? Because not only is Shahzada on this vessel, so is his son, Suleiman. Have you spoken with them? Do you know how they're doing?
Well, I have not, only indirectly through one of our other board members, who's a very close personal friend of the family's, an associate, Rima Khan. And Rima's been in touch with Shahzada's mother. That's how I originally found out, is that his mother had shared this information that Shahzada was on board, and that his son Suleiman was with him. And I can only say that in this notification, his mother was stoic, to say the very least, and of course hopeful, like all of us. I knew, of course, that Shahzada was going on this expedition. He'd been at our April board meeting in Mountain View, California, and was excitedly telling me about this trip. So I knew this was coming, but it was such a shock to hear that the submersible had gone missing.
Right. Diamond's gone on to tell CNN the last time he saw his friend, he was talking about how excited he was for this journey.
I think surely he was aware of the risks, and was certainly aware that undertaking a manned dive to this kind of depth in a submersible is a dangerous undertaking. But he didn't really dwell on that or talk too much about it at the time.
Wow.
We learned this morning, even if they find the sub, get it to the surface, they can't get themselves out because it's bolted, locked from the outside.
How long would it take to unbolt the thing?
I don't know.
Oh, man. We're watching, and in fact, one of the news stations has a countdown clock that shows how much oxygen is still remaining. That's a little scary. But, of course, if there's any good news, we'll pass it along immediately here on KSL.
Yeah. 8:49, time for that look at traffic and weather together, which we do every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Beautiful day out there. What's it look like on the ground, Heather?
Well, on the ground, most everybody is traveling at speed with not a lot of problems getting to where they need to go. Unless you're northbound I-15 right now, we do have, it looks like a crash right near 1700 South, so it's in between 21st and 13th South exits. And you've got the right lane and shoulder blocked. It's causing people to merge into traffic sooner than they'd like from 21st South, and that's backing up traffic in the area. Otherwise, you're going to be fine on the 201 freeway, Mountain View Corridor, and Bangerter Highway. Len.
In Weber and Davis counties, it's looking pretty good, but you're still seeing a little bit of sluggish traffic from Layton right through the center of Layton up to the Kaysville Pond. Seems to get better like an accordion. It seems to go back and then get a few cars more and gets busy. Then again, at the North Interchange down to about the Beck Street off-ramps, it's a little slow there. Eric?
In Utah County, I-15 continues to cruise along at a pretty normal pace. 22 minutes from Springville, up to Point of the Mountain. We do have a crash reported northbound in Linden, but that's over on the right shoulder. And right now, just seeing a touch of brake tapping going by. That not enough to add any extra time, not much extra time, that's for sure, to your drive. If you're eastbound from Redwood Road, expect usual slowdowns on both Pioneer Crossing and 2100 North in both cases, approaching 2300 West. That's Saratoga Road. It's the summer tour sales event at Murdoch Hyundai. Receive 0% for 3 years on a new Tucson or Santa Fe. Murdoch Hyundai in Logan, Linden, Murray, or online at murdochhyundai.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. You ordered it, we delivered. A perfect first day of summer. Sunny skies today with a high of 77. Very nice. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 85. We back it off to 83 on Friday. Partly cloudy and breezy. We keep it breezy on Saturday, mostly sunny, 82. How about 87 for your Sunday? Sunny skies. We keep the ample sunshine on Monday, 90 degrees. Goes to 87 on Tuesday, mostly sunny. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 58 downtown, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Would you be upset if you lost $111,000 in retirement income? Get this, 96% of Americans, 96%, lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. Learn how you could avoid this in a free report, the Social Security Decisions Guide from Boss Retirement Solutions, a 5-time winner of Utah's Best of State Award. If you saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get this free report by calling 801-682-4448. This free report is loaded with critical information that can help you avoid losing $111,000 in Social Security income. So call 801-682-4448. That's 801-682-4448. Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
Can you believe it? Just when you thought the savings at Paris RV can't get any better, right now is Hot Deals Month at Paris RV, and you can save thousands on the easy-to-tow Forest River Rockwood 1640 LTD for only $12,995 or $146 a month. Need a bunkhouse? Save over $13,000 on the Gulfstream Amerilite Ultralight 248BH for $19,995 or $225 per month. Oh, you want to drive your rig so Mama can make you a sandwich on the way.
You want some cheesy poofs too?
Then climb aboard the Gulfstream Conquest Class C 6237 LE for only $79,995 or $636 a month. You're saving almost $36,000. See Paris RV for details. This R&R lifestyle changing and cash back in your jeans is happening right now at Paris RV with 4 locations. Go to parisrv.com.
The lowest prices of the year are now at Paris RV.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. One of the biggest newspaper publishers in the U.S., Gannett, is suing Google over their digital ad services. The lawsuit accuses Google of violating antitrust laws and having a monopoly on the ad market. They claim that Google's ad services are actually driving down revenue for news outlets.
California is thinking about charging homeowners for utilities based on their income. 3 major utility companies in the state have drawn up plans to create this sliding scale in response to a new state law.
A new program is offering cash and free outdoor adventures to adventurers to remote workers if they move to West Virginia. The program is aimed at offsetting population loss in the state. Successful applicants will get $12,000 and free passes for whitewater rafting, golf, rock climbing, and more. The full package, we're told, is worth about $20,000.
Markets are down slightly this morning. Dow's off 75. That's 0.2%. We're at 33,977. S&P is down 23, which is 0.5%. Excuse me. The Nasdaq is down 165, which is 1.2%.
We should tell you that we're only about 90 seconds away from the official summer solstice. Thought we'd bring it in the way it should be here as we all look forward to another beautiful day. Unseasonably cold out there with 77 for a high, and we'll have more on your forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. This hour of Utah's Morning News this morning is brought to you by ARUP Blood Services, and Michael Findlay is back with us one more time. Not a coincidence, as we said, Michael, that we're talking to you about this on this first day of summer, because there is such a need this time of year.
Oh, there totally is. Like I said before, the usage of the hospitals goes up and the donations go down. So we really, really need your donors to come in and donate ASAP.
Is it because the schools aren't in session or people don't do as many blood drives in summer?
Well, that's a part of it. The high schools are not in session, so we do lose those blood drives, and just more people are out on on vacations, and so they don't think about the need to donate blood. Well, meanwhile, people are spending their summer break in the hospital.
We mentioned how much we enjoy coming in when we're asked to there to ARUP. And Amanda, you donate on a regular basis, I know, because you have special platelets, I think, that they're always looking for. What we've learned, Michael, is that every one of these donations really has a name attached to it, which I think is a nice way for people to think about it.
They do, yeah. People think about all the numbers, but there are actual real people whose lives are needing to be saved. And so each donation does go to a patient, and that's saving their life.
And we know you're busy, but this is an easy process. I like donating platelets because I like that downtime, just 2 hours of quiet or an hour and a half, whatever it takes of quiet. But for people who are donating whole blood, you're in and out of there.
Oh, yeah. The whole visit takes about a half an hour in and out the door. When you come in, you'll be checked into the front desk. They'll have a short questionnaire for you where you can answer some medical and social questions. Then you go back to a room where they kind of do a mini physical. They'll check your iron, your blood pressure, your pulse, your temperature, answer questions you may have. And then the needle is only in your arm maybe 6 to 8 minutes. The rest of the time is up with snacks.
Yeah. And you have great snacks, can I just say?
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
We pride ourselves on our snacks.
We'd like to think that, the idea of saving a life would be enough, but you actually have some little enticements from time to time, and you've got a good one today.
We do. So all through the whole month of June, even if you can't come today, we're doing Cold Stone gift cards. But today, in addition to that, being the longest day of the year, we're giving out beach towels as well.
Beach towels and Cold Stone ice cream. I think that's a good combo.
I think so.
They're open 7 days a week.